see how we are dressed, me and you. We have covered our balls, but we are just like goats and dogs. It should be hanging. So this is one of the main reasons. Yes, it should be. Protect and let them be free.
Data has shown that about 3 million babies have been born through the in vitro fertilization process, commonly known as IVF. It is gaining popularity as one of the ways through which people can make babies artificially. What is the process like? What does it take to have an IVF? And which people qualify to have an IVF? Today I'm at the Medifem Multi-Specialist and Fertility Center to find all these answers for you. But before I introduce my guests, let's take a short break. We'll be right back. So you're welcome back from that short break, and I'm here with a principal fertility specialist at the Medifem Multi-Specialist and Fertility Center. His name is Dr. Nana Henaku Labi. Hello, Doc.
Hello.
So today we want to talk about IVF. I know the full name is in vitro fertilization, if I'm right.
Yes.
What is IVF?
IVF, in vitro fertilization. I think before you understand what it really means, you must know what is the normal. And the normal is any couple who want to get a baby, there are certain 4 things which have to be satisfied.
Okay.
Number 1, it's the sperm of the man. 2, the egg of the woman. The egg and the sperm, they meet in the place called the fallopian tube. So egg, sperm, they meet in the tube. That's where fertilization takes place. So in normal settings, normal life, fertilization of a woman's egg is in the fallopian tubes. After the fertilization, the fertilized egg would drop down to settle in the uterus, in the womb. So these are the 4 things which are required for any couple to get a baby: the womb, the sperm, the egg, the fallopian tubes where fertilization takes place. And then it settles in the womb. 4 things, always. But for some reason, you cannot have the fertilization inside the womb of the woman. And fertilizing an egg, or the woman's egg, with the sperm outside the woman's body is in vitro fertilization. And in vitro means outside the body. It's a Greek expression for in glass. So in vitro fertilization simply means fertilizing the egg of the woman or whatever outside her body.
Right. So when are couples supposed to go for an IVF?
Which indirectly means what are the reasons for IVF?
Yeah.
So after an egg is fertilized in vitro, we put the resulting fertilized egg, which is now called embryo, we put it inside the womb and let the thing grow, and eventually the baby is born after 9 months or so. Now, anything which will obstruct you from getting a baby may lead on to getting that fertilized egg outside the woman's body. Anything. And I group them into 4 reasons where how pregnancy takes place. So if there's a problem with the egg, itself, I start with the egg. I start with then followed by the sperm, and then where fertilization takes place, the tube, and then it settles in the womb. So I simply have to go through this for egg production. Sometimes the woman, you do everything, you are able to give all those things, you think everything else is normal, but no pregnancy.
Yeah.
So it eventually ends up with us bringing the egg out and fertilizing outside. That's doing the IVF. The next one is the sperm. Assuming everything is normal, and then the sperm is sort of deficient. It's not. If you introduce a sperm through the normal way, they won't be able to reach the egg itself. In that case, even the sperm, defective sperms, we can use the defective sperm in an IVF setup. Normally, you need 500,000 sperms to fertilize one egg in normal life. Yeah. But if the sperm is defective, what we do is we take the egg, get the best out of the sperm, which is good, mix them outside. So that becomes an IVF due to low sperm raising. And again, on the other hand, in certain situations, the sperms are so low, it cannot be used even in simple IVF setup. So we have to take one sperm, take one egg, and ourselves inject that sperm into the egg. And the process is called ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection.
Okay, so if there's a case where maybe the sperms are the problem, the woman is okay and everything, they still have to do an IVF to be able to get a baby?
Not necessarily. Okay. If all is well with the woman and the sperm cells are not good at all, unfortunately, we have to do an IVF. But if at some stage the sperms are not good, but they are not that bad, we can wash them, sieve them, and do a process called IUI, intrauterine insemination. But even that, it means we are preparing the sperm to inject into the womb for the sperm to go and meet the egg inside the tube. But some are so weak they cannot. Look, you measure sperm quantity in millions. If you do a sperm check, they will tell you the normal is 10 million per mil, or 20 million and above for the whole thing. And then, so you wonder why all these 20 millions, but you need only one sperm. And that is where ICSI comes in, or IUI comes in. But unfortunately, if you do IUI, you don't actually see the problem if it fails, if it doesn't work. You wouldn't know. Why? Yeah, but with IVF, you can see fertilization. You can see that there's something going on. Unfortunately, the baby is not well formed, and eventually it may not happen.
So I was asking, what's a chance when I do an IVF that it will be successful? Because it's just like science. Medicine is not always
Exactly. It is not exact. You think you are succeeding. At the end of it, in the whole world is about 37% chance of getting a success with the first IVF, with a single IVF. The whole world. Not certain places a little bit higher due to maybe superior conditions or techniques or whatever. It's a slightly higher, but it's ours. We are an average of 50 point something. And it fluctuates. It depends on who you are dealing with. An elderly person going through a normal IVF, the chances are not as high compared to a younger person aged in the 20s and things. If other things are okay, but an IVF is required, they have a higher chance of sometimes over 70%, 77% chance of getting pregnant.
Because I was going to ask what age it is best advisable to have an IVF.
The best age to have a baby in any woman is 22. Huh? 22 years is the best age to have a baby. Wow. This thing is stuck in my brain for a long, long time since I was. It's the best age. The younger you are, it's not that good for a young girl of 18, 19 to have a baby. The older you are, then it's going towards, women have an expiry date. From 35 onwards, your fertility potential drops drastically, declines. So if you are 35, so for instance, if you come to me at the age of 28 or 24, 6, and that you have an infertility problem, it will take time to go through. But if you are already 35 plus, we wouldn't give you the normal time that people expect you to get pregnant. No, we'll start investigating immediately. Because as the older you are, the less likely your fertility potential.
That's very interesting, quite intriguing. 22 years is the best
age for having a baby.
And the longer it takes, the higher your chances.
Yes.
Yes. So, how is the procedure like? Is it painful? Is it stressful?
Okay.
Is it expensive?
Let me start from the bottom. Expensive, yes, it is. But comparatively to other nations, I think we are very cheap in Ghana.
Like how much?
Normally, in the US, for instance, you spend more than $15,000 to go through an IVF procedure. Ghana is roughly about $5,000. Dollars. Max dollars, roughly. And it depends on various units. There are some units which we all differ a bit, but averagely, in fact, I was estimating, we were much less than the $5,000, but and because the exchange rate, that's a problem. But that's the average cost of. We don't charge in dollars; we charge in cedis. Okay. Then, in fact, I was having headache. I was taking paracetamol. I was squeezing my face just to take the tablets. Everything is uncomfortable in medicine, but we try to limit the pain as much as possible. Is it painful? What is IVF? How do we do it? We do that by giving you a series of injections, which takes you about 2 weeks. Every day you have to take that injection. And then once you get to a level where we are putting the baby inside, there are another series of injections until the baby is well established, which takes another month or two. So injections itself in IVF is very, very uncomfortable. People complain a lot that sometimes my buttocks is swollen and that. So that's number one, where you experience pain. Two, when it's time to go and you've produced the eggs, you've got to collect the eggs from the woman, and that is called egg retrieval. That's the second part of IVF. And of course, we use some long needle through the vagina using an ultrasound to prick. So it's not a major operation. It's an uncomfortable situation where you use a needle to go and aspirate all the eggs. And after that, 20, 30 minutes, they are gone. They go home. After that, but the procedure is uncomfortable. So we give you something called conscious sedation. Conscious. You are sort of, but you are fully sedated, no pain, nothing, and it's a very brief period. Normally not more than 20, 30 minutes for the egg collection, depending on the number, some 10. So yes, that bit is a bit uncomfortable. So you feel some pain. Your eggs are fertilized outside, and 5 days later, we have to put the eggs into the womb. And that one, it's ideally it's not painful, just like having a normal relation with your husband. You know, you feel something being down there. Minutes, seconds, you push the baby inside.
So how's sperm collection like from the man?
How do we collect the sperm? We don't put needles and things like in the woman, but the main source is from masturbation. You know what that is?
Yes.
Have you done it before?
I'm not a boy. I'm not a man.
So they masturbate and then see the fluid coming out, and sometimes it's very difficult for the clients, the patients. And I'm sorry, I made a joke with it, but some need their wives to come and help them to do that. We resist resist or whatever you call it from having sex in order to produce the sperm. That you lose a lot, especially the initial sperms, you know. You may lose them, but that's where the concentrated things may be.
Okay.
So having sex to produce sperm, it's you don't advise. On the other hand, there are certain cases where there is no sperm. Normally, we have to dig into the testis area and aspirate some sperms. This is a special condition where there are no sperms even when they make their normal ejaculation, no sperm. So we have to find some sperm around the testis there and aspirate to use it to do the IVF.
Right. Thank you very much. At this point, we'll go for a quick break where we speak to one of the people who have undergone IVF. She'll share her experience with us and how the whole process was for her. When we come back, we'll speak more to Doc. So currently I'm with Akosia. She's had an IVF procedure and she was successful. So she's going to share with us what she went through, how the process was like for her. Hello Akosia, and thank you for speaking to us today. So I just want to know how your IVF process was like.
Oh, by God's grace, I would say mine has been successful all the time. because I think I first came here 2014, and I'm in a distance marriage. So it's like, oh, you are okay, nothing is wrong, so let's give you medication. Then you try your natural cycle. We tried it up till 2017 still. Then the doctor said, then let's go and do IVF. So we've learned a whole lot of stories. When you go do IVF, first time it's not successful. You have to do multiple times, blah blah blah. So it's like I was scared, but I held on to my faith. So with my first attempt, like medication, first they'll give you medication. I think they said my problem was PCOS. Okay. PCOS. So they will give you medication to boost the eggs, then the maturity of the eggs, everything becomes successful, then they retrieve the eggs. So after the retrieval of the eggs, they're expecting that within the next 5 days, you'll be fine for them to transfer the embryos. But with my first 5 days, I had something called OHSS. With that one, you bloat, then you vomit, like you cannot even eat. You feel hungry, but you cannot eat. And it's like you are not by yourself. So because of that, I cannot take it on the 5th day. So you have to treat me and wait till the next month. So by God's grace, the next month when I came, they transferred and everything was fine. I think my first pregnancy was triplets, but along the line, it's like 2 couldn't stay and left with 1. And people were saying, hey, IVF, they will stitch your womb, do blah blah blah. But with God's grace, they didn't stitch my womb. Everything was successful. My girl is now 4 years, TikTok girl. And I think later on we said, oh, we want more. So after 2 years, we came back again to do the same thing again. That one too was successful. I had a successful pregnancy. But just that along the line, I had an ovarian cyst which ruptured. So now I couldn't control the pain with the pregnancy. So they have to remove the pregnancy. So with that, everything got a treatment. I have to take time before. Then I came again. So when I came again, it's like that one too. After the retrieval of eggs, because mostly it's like I go for 15 eggs, 17 eggs, but with this one I hated 36 eggs. So that means it wasn't easy. So I bloated. My stomach was like 8 months pregnancy. I was 5 cry. So they have to treat me again. And with that one, I was like always, I think I'm strong. So sometimes I even go home and come back for the treatment, then go back again. So with this one day, as soon as I went home, they told me I should stay because I'm not looking well. And I saw then I said I'll go home because mostly when I finish, I drive and go back home. And they said, hey, so is that what you've been doing? It's not good, it's serious. You have to stay. So I didn't stay. I didn't mind them, and I went to, oh, I fainted. So that means I have to rush back. I said it's my own assault then. But I can say when I came back, the treatment, one thing I like about them is no matter what, they have time, they have patience, they will talk to you well, and they will call you to check on you. Even I can say I have almost all of them, they are anonymous. My husband too. In case of anything, even in the night, my husband will call them, my wife is not feeling fine. They will call you, come wherever the medication is, they will try and take the medication so you'll become fine. So with that one too, I had to wait again, then come and do the transfer again. And one good thing is mostly the semen they use is not fresh because my husband is not around, so mostly it's stored semen. So just imagine, the owner of the hospital will tell you that we are good because imagine the stored semen that we use for it. It's a stored semen, and even after that they have to store the embryos too for like 3-4 months before they transfer. Yeah. With some people, their man will be there, the owner, they take the semen and put it in. But with my, not that, but at the end of the day, I get successful results. Me, fine, they are doing their job. But I believe in God too. I know without God, nothing can be possible.
So one last thing I want to ask is, how was the journey like emotionally? How were you feeling about it?
It's not easy because last time I told one lady at the front desk, climbing this staircase up there, having hope. What pains me is you have to always come for injections. There is not the medication alone that you take alone. The injections alone you take, especially before they will retrieve the eggs, and after the retrieval and the transfer, you have to take an injection again. That injection, the one giving you the injection is not painful. The injection, a drone, kasana, they give it to you, and after that, you could say, "Otonya yeah." So me, if somebody is sitting somewhere and especially you come and beat my daughter there, I'll kill you. Yes, because the pain and emotionally alone. Because last year when I miscarried, it's like when I'm walking, I've been crying because after that, you have to also see the doctor, come again for that ovarian cyst that I had because of the PCOS that I have. It's likely that it will come, so it's not their fault. It's normal. The experience emotionally. Just imagine somebody sitting there. The husband is sitting beside her. The lady was crying. When I got there, she was crying. I was said, "I say it's painful." And I said, "Really, it's painful." Go and ask her if it is painful. How many eggs did you get? She would tell you like 10, 15. But me, 37 eggs. Even if it was painful, I didn't cry. Who did I go and cry to? My husband is not here. My mother is not here. So I just keep quiet and lie down and fold my arms. So emotionally, it's not easy.
All right, thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. She says the process, even though quite painful, is worth it at the end of the day. Let's go back to Doc and conclude the conversation. We are welcome back. So I'm seated back with Doc, and this part we're going to talk about some of the controversial things that we've heard people say about IVF. What women who go through IVF are supposed to do, some of the facts, the misconceptions, and all of those things surrounding it. Doc, welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. So,
Thank you.
Personally, I've heard people say that when you have an IVF, the likelihood of getting 2 or more babies is very high. I've seen someone who has given birth to 4 quadruplets, and everybody said, well, she did an IVF, and she also confirmed that she did an IVF. So what's the chance of getting multiple babies from an IVF? And if that is very true, why is it the case?
Yes. Normally, you've stimulated, you get a lot of eggs. You fertilize them. Sometimes you get as much as 10, 15 fertilized eggs, which are called embryos. So, actually, we discuss with the patient, how many do you want to put in? And some of them who have been, yearning for a baby for a long time, they will tell you, doctor, put 5, doctor, put 4. But elsewhere in the US, UK, you are not allowed to put more than 1. Ghana, we don't have a law restricting us.
Okay.
But I'll tell you soon we will have, because we are working on it, the government and then our association. Together we are working on a draft to regulate these things. And yes, we put, for us, not more than 3. If anybody even wants 3, they have to take special permission from me before I agree. Otherwise, we normally put 1, 2, and yes, sometimes 3. It depends on the way we see your fertility potential. In a young woman, everything seems to be okay. Maybe due to something, the male side, or we try to limit as many as we can. You put 3, you may develop all 3. And that you have the triplets. Some they insist, they really give us tough time. They want, and even for that we make them sign. They want 4. You put it and they would develop quadruplets. But to be honest, with our standard, we find it a failure if somebody has more than 2. You failed. Because 3, 4, you see it in you hear it in the news and all that. Really, it's not right. Because the amount of torture the woman goes through to carry these 4 babies, it's no joke. And why they normally end up having miscarriages. So the higher the order of pregnancy is, the more likely you develop a miscarriage. There are situations where some women themselves, from their family background and all that, they can't develop the higher order multiple babies, and that is not very common.
That is to mean that maybe just one egg was put there, but they may be able to develop twins from that.
That twinning from the one egg,
yes,
is commoner and is more, it depends more on the genetics of the person. You have a person from a twinning family, it can't easily happen.
Right. So now let's talk about the do's and don'ts. When you are about to get an IVF, what should you do? What should you not do? Your lifestyle.
It's why are you going for the IVF? Whatever is preventing you from getting pregnant, if it's preventable, you should try to avoid it. Smoking, you drinking so much, even your husband always, drinking so much. And this is part of the process of not getting pregnant. Food-wise, there are several conditions which is related to diabetes, for you to have poor egg production. In that case, you have to try and, with the advice of the doctor, to try and sort of manage that situation where your egg production can be. It's a very popular situation called polycystic ovaries syndrome, PCOS they call it. And then in that case, you have to watch what you eat, so as to, limit whatever. Men, usually, when they are poor, low sperm, we encourage them to take honey. And look, see how we are dressed, me and you. We have covered our balls, but we are just like goats and dogs. It should be hanging. So this is one of the main reasons. Yes, it should be. Protect and let them be free. Then pregnancy will take place. So avoiding, the root of the pregnancy, non-pregnancy causes could help in the situation. IVF is as simple as that. We promote eggs. So even if your eggs you can't promote it because of some of the conditions I've mentioned, we are not going to succeed, because even though we are doing it, the eggs won't come. Yes, we do get situations where no eggs are produced, and we have to cancel the whole cycle. And so anything which will make you, your initial doctors will tell you regarding do this or that to promote fertility. It's sort of required in general. There are no specific requirement that I'm going for IVF, therefore I should not drink tea, I should not drink coffee, and that sort of thing. I heard them talking about it, but
it's not true. Okay, so
there is no medical basis of it. It's just like the normal care pregnancy thing.
Okay, so can you choose the gender of your child?
Yes, it's possible, but unfortunately we don't do it in Ghana yet. I heard some of our colleagues, they've been trying. We call it pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. It means before the egg gets stuck in there, we manage to bring some out. You take a cell out of the developing embryo and study it for whatever you want to. Apart from sex typing, there are some medical conditions where you can diagnose this before the newly made embryo gets implanted. So they take them to the lab, remove one cell from the growing embryo and test it. Sorry. Unfortunately, sex typing, it's supposed to be common, especially with the Nigerians, but it's a very expensive way of going through doing what I just described, PGDs.
Yes. Finally, I want to know some of the lifestyle choices that young people can adopt to reduce infertility rates, because sometimes our lifestyles also put us at risk of not being able to produce.
Very much.
Both in men and women. So before you even get to the point where you need an artificial help to be able to produce, what can you do as an individual to be able to increase?
Yes, you learned something from me. I said the best age to have a baby is.
Yes.
So
22
that's
hours.
number one. You don't wait and keep it when you are 38, 40, then you come for a baby. And seriously, it seems the infertility has gone up, infertility problem. It's mainly due to the woman's aim to have her own career, and therefore a delay. You are postponing your fertility, and it's not only fertility issues. I'm sure you've heard about something called fibroids.
Yes.
You've heard about endometriosis.
Yes.
These are all something to do with not the uterus or the system not having a baby. So fibroids take over. Endometriosis take over. My mother had me when she was 46 years. Can you imagine? At that time, as if there are no endometriosis and no fibroids. Why? And after me, 46, there were three, a twin and a terrier. That was my mother. Now, from the little you have gotten from me, how did it occur? How 46 she was still having a baby? Because she started very early and continued every 2 years, like that.
So the spacing to is a factor.
I mean, we're talking of the scientific aspect of it. I'm not trying to be controversial, but it's a fact that as you delay your fertility thing, these diseases are mentioned, fibroid, and they take over because of what we call estrogens, which come up and they stimulate the growth of the fibroids very much, stimulate. And then at the end of it, you are struggling. Every year, every woman was born with a number of fixed eggs. Listen to this portion. At birth, you have about 1 million to 2 million eggs in you as a baby. Then, as you grow, 10, 12, 11, you have your first menstruation. That is called menarche. You have lost about 30% of your endowed eggs. And every month that you menstruate, about 40 to 50 eggs come out for only one to stick his neck out. It will also answer you, are there problems with IVF because you are producing more eggs? Is she going to be able to, the eggs that you lose during IVF or you make, you would have lost them anyway in a normal brush-up. So yes, age at which you have your family is very important. Younger girls, you should be very careful. You should be very careful not to have your tubes damaged from miscarriages, abortions, and things like that. That's very important for the younger ones. Inordinate sex, infections down there, tubal damage, eventually no baby. If, for both sides, male and females, if you had any issues about fertility, don't waste too much time. You go and see the doctor. They will assess you. And the other thing is men, they usually blame women for whatever their problems are, but they are equally culpable. But 40% of infertility is due to men.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nana Henaku Labi. He is Principal Fertility Specialist at the Accra Fertility Center, subsidiary of Medifair Multi-Specialist and Fertility Center. And he has been speaking to us about IVF, the procedure, the do's and don'ts, and things that as young people we can do to enhance our chances of fertility. My name is Stella Shanelly.
It's another exciting edition of Talk Attainment. As usual, I am your host, Elsie. Our guest for today is a diplomat. She loves everything Ghanaian, everything music, everything culture, everything arts. Yes, don't forget, her job here in Ghana is also to promote French culture among citizens. And that is exactly what we're about to find out, as well as more and more and more in the world of entertainment. I'll introduce my guest to you shortly after this break. We'll be right back. Welcome back from that quick break. Like I said earlier, we have here a diplomat who I usually describe her as someone for the people. She's liberal, she's down to earth. That's how I describe her. So, Her Excellency Anne Sophie is here with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for having us at your beautiful residence.
Thank you. Welcome. Akwaba.
Oh! And what else do you know in Ghanaian language aside Akwaba?
Mani Ajay, Semewo, GhanaWeb.
Okay, that's a nice try.
That's for having me.
That's Chi.
That's true.
Aside Chi, which other language?
Oh, I'm already struggling with Tree. But sometimes I try, because, you know, I've come to realize that You come to Ghana, so people tell you, you know, one of the main languages is Tree, so you try and learn Tree, and then you go to Jamestown. It's not very far from here, right? And then people speak Ga.
Yeah.
So you go to Ho or the Volta region.
Yeah.
People speak Ewe. And then you go up in the north, and people speak Hausa.
Yeah, Dagbani,
and you go, really? How can they actually communicate?
So many languages.
So many languages. It's so I'm trying to learn a bit of Tree. But yeah, it would take me probably another 20 years posting to manage to just sort of butcher other Ghanaian languages.
Let's come to music. What were some of the sounds or Ghanaian music you heard even before coming here to Ghana?
Let me be very honest. France has very, very close links to Francophone Africa. Yeah. So the musicians that we know in France usually are from Francophone Africa. So we know this kind of music, which is exotic and some rhythms, reggae and this kind of stuff. But the language is French. So it's easy for us to relate. And Ghanaian music is very diverse. I mean, it's not just high life, it's hip hop, high life, dancehall, reggae. You guys can do absolutely everything. Afrobeat. And it's probably because of historical links. The bridge goes to the UK and the US, but really passes above France. So and when I arrived here, I discovered this music, and I thought it was American. I thought it was American artists because the quality of the music, the quality of arrangement, the quality of the sounds was so professional. When you don't really pay attention to the language that is spoken, I thought it was American. And even when you listen to American rappers, they've got their own language, so eventually you're not even sure it's English. I thought it was American music. So then I got to adapt and meet with some artists, and I was like, but you are actually Ghanaian. I mean, what you produce, you mean you didn't record in America? It's actually Ghanaian. And I got to I did my homework going through the several amazing artists that you have in Ghana, and I'm just blown away by the quality of what they do. And the UK, US have spotted them immediately. Quite a few artists are doing collabs in the UK, US, and they're shutting down some huge
arenas.
In the arenas. It's just very impressive. So I thought, hey, this quality of music, this professionalism, this creativity, and the youth sometimes of those artists, that tells some things about Ghana. And this somehow is a brand ambassador for Ghana. And I've got to work on that, to put Ghana on the map for France, and also use some French artists to be more known in Ghana, because you don't know many French artists, do you? And sometimes the one you will quote are actually Belgian, which is great. We like to call them French, but they're Belgian. And they sing in French. But so it's reciprocal. You don't know really French music that well. Some of it sometimes, or some songs, or some artists you don't really know, like David Guetta. No, not many people know he's actually completely French. They think so. You see, when you reach a certain level of quality, you are labeled American. You see what I mean? Even if you are completely French or completely Ghanaian. So I think it's important to use that this quality production of music, songs, sounds, the professionalism, to show and say something about Ghana and share, because that is something that speaks to people's hearts. So back to the language you speak fluently, the hearts of people's language. Then music is certainly one language that we can speak to each other.
Exactly. So, like, what artists would you look at if there's an opportunity to kind of like have a collaboration with French artists?
Oh, we've done that already. Oh, we have. We have brought 6 artists of Ghana to France to do collabs with French artists.
Who are those?
So I think it began with Kwabna.
Okay.
Who's done like 3 or 4 songs
already.
Oh
wow.
Then Gasmila, Fameye, Becca,
wow,
Stoneboy,
okay,
and Sarkodie.
Okay.
So it could have been many others, and actually Aqua Boa just did one with the same French artist as well, no later than yesterday. But those 6 had done that during the summer last year. And so to present what they had done, we had a concert, Paris and Accra in December here, and we have a return leg for some of them in Paris in April.
Oh, wow.
So yes, of course.
That's great.
And I hope that they will seize the opportunity when they are in France. And when they went to France to record with Passy and Orti, they also met with other French artists, and they took the opportunity to show what they were doing on French radio, and to catch attention of French artists who will want to do collabs. So more French artists do more collaborations with more Ghanaian artists. But for some bizarre reasons, in the past year, many French artists have gone to France. Ghanaian artists have come to France to visit and make connections. And I know King Promise is going to perform in Paris on the 30th of April. And there's now the Ghana Music Awards that happened in Toulouse. So that is putting Ghanaian artists in France. So I just sort of opened the way a bit, and then they're very professional. They know that the moment you just open the door like this, they will just
take advantage.
Take advantage and make lots of connections. And French artists suddenly have interest in Ghanaian artists. I tried to contact Metro Gibbs, who's not really French actually, but he sings in French. We like to think of him as French, but he's Congolese. We contacted him to offer him to do collabs, and he said, but I really want to come and perform in Ghana. And we have this amazing Ghanaian-born artist called Sefaz, who was adopted by French parents at the age of 8, who has done his life in France. He's now 20-something, and he is a star in France, sings in French, and he even was a finalist to represent France at the Eurovision song contests. So I know that very shortly he will come back to Ghana, back to the roots. He has not been back to Ghana ever since he was adopted. He's from Navrongo. So you see, we're certainly opening like a big channel between France and Ghana in the area of music, because that's a language we both love, understand, and I'm sure there's a lot to be done in that respect. Plus, if our French artists sing in French, that brings a bit of the French language here.
Yeah. So, with that being said, what's the difference, like the main difference between the Ghanaian music industry and the French music industry?
Well, it's very different in terms of sound, of course. We also have rappers, but the rap is different. French rap is different. We don't have so much high life and the rhythms. We have much more variety and radio commercial kind of things, but we've also got quite a diverse production. But in terms of industry, if we go beyond the actual production, this is an industry that is very strongly supported by the French government, not being funded by the government, but there is a legal frame that really helps the French artists to thrive. Every little community, we don't really have villages, but small town, has a community center where people can learn how to sing, practice music. We have music academies everywhere. So if you have just a bit of a hint of a talent, you get a chance to practice and see where it goes. Then you have access to studios to record your first record. Then you have some contests. Then you have many opportunities to try and show what you can do. And then if you really are good and someone notices you, then you can record a record. We are protecting French music in a way that we radios and TVs have a compulsory percentage of French productions or Francophone productions to display. So you can display as much music in your program on the radio as much as you want, provided you have 30% of Francophone music. that is to, you know, help the French music and the Francophone music to have a platform, but also to ensure that this traditional kind of language singing in French is not getting lost under the huge, you know, wave of American music that is, of course, easier, more international. With
what you have said, I think it means French, in terms of advantages, they have got a lot of advantages as compared to the Ghanaian entertainment industry.
Yeah, but it didn't work. It didn't come overnight. You see, they had some artist unions who have advocated for that. Then we also have a very strong royalty institution that collects the money from everyone who displays music and pays the artists. And this is called SSM. It's the equivalent of GAMRO, but it's hugely efficient.
Speaking of GAMRO, what's your view on all that has happened so far? I'm sure you might have heard artists.
Yeah, people are. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
You see, I haven't dug into this thing. I can only observe that if you take someone like Chatawale or all those artists, Sarkodie, Stonebwoy, and even those who have one huge hit, like Kelvin Boy was Down Flat, or, you know, I know I'm not listing them all, so I will have to apologize.
You've heard Down Flat, oh.
Of course, I'm trying to
She's modern,
I'm trying to learn the choreography.
Yeah, we'll do that, don't worry.
Yeah, no, we won't. I haven't rehearsed yet. So, such a big hit, you see. If you register that song at the SSM, and it is displayed in Europe, he will just have to sit there and wait for royalties to fall.
Yeah.
When you see the number of views on YouTube, the number of downloads on all the platforms, streams and everything, all of them should be billionaires.
Yeah.
So I'm not criticizing anything. I'm just wondering, how come are they not billionaires through just royalties, not concerts, not selling, just royalties, considering the magnitude of what they are doing, of the success that they are putting out there. So there surely is something that could be adjusted and bettered and probably strengthened so that they actually can live from their art. And the way the French system works, of course, some singers with only one hit in their entire career still live on the royalties, and their children live on the royalties. So it's true that it's cash machine for people who do real big hits or whose albums are golden records, or true. But even for small artists, if they produce one music, you know, if there are composers for one big artist, every time it is displayed, every time it is replayed, every time it is adapted, there's something back for them. So it enables a lot of people to live, and not only the big arts whose face you have on the billboards, but also all the musicians behind, the composers, the people who do the arrangements, the people who write the lyrics, if they are not the same. So in France, this industry is helping many, many people to live, because you can only be an author and just write lyrics and still live on this.
Yeah, let's take a quick break here. I know this is getting more interesting, but when we come back, we have more for you. You are watching Talkatainment here on GhanaWeb TV.
From the dawn of time, people have engaged in several businesses. With the onset of technology and innovation, life has relatively been made easier. By using debit or credit cards,
mobile banking.
Thank you. And your favorite, mobile money?
tech has indeed married business. On BizTech, we spend time with faces behind known and upcoming businesses in the country.
Learn more about the new technologies and innovation,
as well as find out about the trending issues in the world of business.
Join us as we serve you with a variety of compelling interviews, projects and others right here on GhanaWeb TV.
Welcome back from the break. If you just joined us, you are watching Talkatainment on GhanaWeb TV, and I'm here with the very beautiful Her Excellency Annie Sophie.
Yeah, people, aka Akosia.
But who gave you Akosia?
Some, you know, in Ghana, one of the first things people ask you is what day were you born.
Yeah.
So I said Sunday. So people say, okay, so you're Akosia.
Oh, okay.
So if I was Fanti, it would be Essie.
You know all that.
3 years and a half. I've done a bit of my homework. Right?
And if you're an Elway, what would it be?
I don't know really. Tell me. Is there a names day as well for the Airways?
I think it's the same, but we say Akosia.
Akosia.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't say Akosia, but the Airways say Akosia.
I don't really hear the difference. Akosia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Akosia.
Yeah. So Akosia. So what are your experiences so far? What memorable Ghanaian culture gestures have you received so far during your stay here?
Well, I wanted from the very beginning when I arrived to go to as many places as possible to have a broader vision of Ghana. So I went to the Volta region where there is a village called Fume. Near Vane.
Vane.
You probably know that in this area there's a large family whose name is Ave, which is also my last name. So I was quite curious to go and see and meet these people who have the same name as mine and see if we could have any connections. And we're still digging to try and find if we do, but it was quite interesting because I've always wondered where my name came from, right? Ave means the bird in Spanish, but I'm not sure it comes from there. It means hi, hello, Ave Maria.
Yeah.
And then now I also know that means forest in Ewe.
Yeah.
So I can have a multi.
Ave
could be a multi origin. I don't know. So when I went to the Volta region in this village, it was Easter ceremonies, and I had this very, very emotional moment when they played the French national anthem on the middle of the mountains, and that was so emotional. You don't expect that. Can you imagine? You're in a foreign country, in the surroundings that you completely discover, that is completely new to you, and people in your honor play the Ghanaian anthem. That is wow.
You feel a sense of welcoming.
It's more than that.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely. It's just undescribable, and that was my very first amazing encounter with Ghanaian culture. So they had a display of dances, traditional dances, and so I thought, wow. And I realized that all the dances meant something. It was actually telling a story.
So moving away from that, I see a touch of Ghana in most of your article of clothing, most of it. How do you select these outfits?
Oh, well, do you know, that tells a lot about the French fashion. People tend to think that the French elegance that we like to display is about French designers. But truth is that the way we French like to dress is a pick and mix of many international designers. So if you go to France, to the Champs-Élysées, to the Rue du Faubourg Saint-Honoré, to those streets where you have many, many shops of luxury fashion, but also if you go to shops that have more medium accessible fashion, the ones I go to be honest.
Are you sure those are the ones you go to?
Absolutely, absolutely. I can't afford the
Louis
luxury.
Vuitton.
No, I can't. Absolutely, no. And honestly, I'm just checking. No, I can't.
Oh, but that's where Ghanaian celebrities shop.
Yeah,
most of them.
When they can afford it, why not? I mean, and I'm glad because it's French, so thank God some people can actually buy from them. But I can't afford it. So, but I love it. I think I once treated myself with a handbag that I had saved money for years before I could actually buy it.
From which store? Which of the stores?
From Louis Vuitton. So I'm very happy I've got one handbag or maybe two out of them. But you see, on a daily basis, you're gonna dress in Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
And so the French elegance and the French way of dressing is about picking and mixing things from different designers and trying to create a look that will suit you, considering your shape and that at my age I can't wear everything. There are stuff that, you know, too short dresses really not anymore. So of course, looking at the Ghanaian fashion, there are things that that make me look good and that I feel comfortable in. So this is very French to picking and mixing, including African pattern, African design.
But do you have suppliers for your Ghanaian wear, or you buy them yourself when you go out?
Oh, I go out myself. I like to choose myself, you know. So, you know, I have to try things on. So either I have tailors who come here and they take measurements, or but they are always Ghanaian, or some shops, like of course the brands like J. Garte or Christy Brown. But I like to go to the shops so I can try things on, because they may look beautiful on a beautiful model, but then when they're on me, it's not so good. So okay, I go for something else. So yeah, I love choosing myself.
In terms of fashion, what do you think the French will accept from Ghanaian fashion designers?
Well, first of all, you must take your Ghanaian designers to France to show what you can do. It's not wrapping people in a wax. It's well cut, well designed dresses or outfits that the French would love. Every time I had French visitors here, they go back with some Ghanaian designer's outfit because they think it's something you can actually wear in France. It's not exotic. It is the shape of it is something you can actually wear. And you see, when you, especially business women or women who are working, usually it's very tough to find something that is both classical and serious and yet a bit of original.
Yeah.
We don't want to dress like suits and tie, really, like men. So we want to have something that looks serious but still has something
casual.
Yes. Yeah. So what I would immediately wear is a jacket like this, but the interior would be with an African print or African design. So yeah, Sekbi, for instance, has put together a collection with the what do you call that? I can't remember. It's from Mali. I forgot what the pattern is. It's a specific pattern, and it's absolutely beautiful. Bogolan, of course. But you know, the shape of the jacket is just very European, very Western. But then in the inside, there's this little pattern or a detail that really makes a difference.
Finally, do you think we are promoting our African made in Ghana goods well enough?
Not enough. I think you're shy. I think you're a bit shy, and I think the first step is to be conscious that what you do, be it in music, in fashion, in arts, in paintings, in photography, it is worth being displayed in Europe. So that's the first step. Say, oh, is what I'm doing that good and good enough to be displayed in Europe? The answer is yes. The second thing is, how do I do it? And I think the only way is to join forces. What you do here, like Taste of Ghana in December, you must transport that in France and in Europe. But you also have to blend with, with other music. So I don't like the idea of a ghetto where you put all that Ghana displays and then people come and just see like they're going to see what Ghana does. It's important to promote, use brand ambassadors. So have musical collaborations with people and people say, wow, and so they are Ghanaians and you didn't know. Like you didn't know that David Guetta was French. Having designers who will be on the runway of the Paris Fashion Show. And people say, wow, who's that young designer? Who are those beautiful things? Well, they're Ghanaian. So you see, just in every different areas where you have added value and amazing talents, you should just join forces, go several designers, several musicians, several painters, several photographers, and join forces to bear the cost of that promotion out there. But then I think it is worth it.
Okay, so we are going to, we put some questions here.
Oh dear.
These are fan questions. You're going to pick from it. And then...
And do I have a joker? Do I have a joker where I can say, oh, I don't want to reply to that one? Ghanaian festival. Oh, I think basically December is just one big festival. You've got Afrochella, you've got Rapperholic, you've got the one in the Shai Hills.
Yeah.
You've got there was
Winterland or Wonderland.
Yeah, Wonderland. Wonderland. You've got so many festivals, and I think I would say December.
Yeah.
I think you should call December one big festival, one big party in Ghana. Yeah. I think.
But were you at any of them?
Of course. I came back from France on the 25th.
Yeah.
And I dashed from the airport to be at Rapperholic.
Wow.
So, of course, I couldn't miss that. Then I was in Afrochella. I was in Taste of Ghana. I didn't do Wonderland. I could have done, but it was in Shai Hills.
Yeah.
And I was in Wonderland, yeah. So, no, I missed the BIM concert. But next year I make sure I won't. So next year I will have like a full schedule, and my December will be back-to-back chilling. Yeah, back-to-back all the concerts, and make sure that I can see all my wonderful artists on stage.
Yeah. Last one?
Oh, last one. Okay, so I don't know which was the one I'm missing. Top Ghanaian musicians. You have so many. I mean, this is terrible. You have so many. I mean, you know what? Look at my Boomplay playlist. These are the songs that I repeatedly listen to, and there's already lots of them. I've listed the 6 that have done collabs with France, so Sarkodie, Stoneboy, Kwabna, Famille, Gasmila, Becca. But you have Mona For Real, she's just amazing. Wow. Jackie as well. And as for the youngs, I mean, you have Kenyatta, you have Kwame Eugene, of course, you have Kiddy, you have Kwesi Arthur, you have Calvin Boy, of course, you have, I mean, I'm forgetting some. So, of course, you have King Promise, Mr. Drew, Darko Vibes, I mean, you name it. You have, it's just incredible. You turn here, you turn there, you've got just incredible musicians, and each of them have a hit. So, yeah, I couldn't list. I mean, it's just, and don't ask me to say which one is my favorite. I love them all. I'm very certain you love them all. Before I let you go, you are, in as much as you are very loved by a lot of Ghanaians. Okay, I can also assume that in the same light that you have been receiving harsh comments here and there. How do you take that? Actually, not. Really? If they do that behind my back. But I haven't. No, I haven't. So you haven't heard any West rumor about yourself? No. So far? No, it hasn't come to me. The only thing that sometimes I get is about the Francophone Africa and questions or concerns about how France behaves in Africa. And of course, it's never nice to hear these criticisms because they are usually groundless. But at the end of the day, it gives me the opportunity to set the record straight. Because if people think that, it's because the rumors actually, they are circulating about the French and France as a country in Francophone Africa. And I use every opportunity to set the record straight. And people, when they know the truth and they start thinking, does it make sense? Is it just possible? Then they sometimes they apologize, sometimes they thank me because they just didn't know. So no, but about myself, no, never. Mm-hmm. So the TikTok trend you've been following, I guess. Which of it is your favorite right now? You mentioned Down Flats when we were about stats. Yeah, of course. I like Obia as well by Aquaboa. So Opia. Sorry, okay. Opia. So I like the last, the latest that Amerado did with Kwame Eugene as well, Mutua. Oh, yeah, I can see that you know a lot of these songs. So that's really impressive. Yeah, really. And I try to keep track of what's coming. Because I'm sure that some Ghanaians do not know as much as you know in terms of music. Well, I don't know. I love music. So now that I have, you know, it's just like when you go to one festival, then what's great about Ghanaian artists is that the more famous one are dragging other ones, are doing featuring. So then that's how I actually knew Sarkodie, and then I heard Happy Day, and I saw Kwame Eugene, and then I thought, oh, who's that guy? So I did my research, and I saw that he had done featurings with other people. So, you know, just dragging the whole thing, that's how you get to know more songs. And those you like, you go, oh wow, this has to go on my playlist. And that's how eventually you know those songs.
Okay, but the down flat challenge, I want to teach you.
Oh no. So you're just warming up there.
Yeah.
But get ready.
Okay, you do it like this.
My hair is beautiful. My hair, I know.
Wait till we.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Okay, then we'll come. I walk up with myself, I can.
I thought it was like this, and then you go like that.
Oh! Okay. I set
myself down flat. I told you.
Okay.
I tried.
Oh, that's really impressive.
I can see to try and learn.
So here's where we come to an end. Here's where we draw the curtains on this edition of Talkatainment. I hope you had fun on the set with one of my favorites.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We come your way same time. So till then, stay blessed and be safe. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
To be mentored or tutored by one of the greatest minds in engineering in Africa, we're all bound to make some mistakes. And that's what the story of our guests on this week's edition of the Untold here on GhanaWeb TV will teach us. The story of Fiavi Kweku Mauto is one that would inspire you. Also, here is a catch. This young man, beyond all his creativity, learnt none of this from the classroom, a naturally born creative. Welcome once again to this week's edition of The Untold here on GhanaWeb TV. Let's bring you all of the details right after this. Born an Ewe, Promise starts off his story by telling us how it is that he was raised as an Asante.
My name is Fiavi Kweku Mauto. Other people call me Promise based on how I was born. So basically, my dad is an Ewe. By blood, I'm an Ewe, but I was raised by an Asante man. So I was being adopted into the Asante family. So my dad and my mom are alive. I have 6 siblings. They are all alive. So we were all living in Accra. I was born in Nkommo, DC. So my youngest brother, that was our last born, that is Kwame Safo. Because of him, I'm here today.
To be named Promise was not just mere coincidence or chance, and he shares the fine details.
When my parents was about to give birth to me, there was a prophecy. Nkommo Woho. That is why I'm called Promise. So after I was giving birth, the man asked them to bring me to him when I'm old enough. So after I completed JSS, they brought me here, and I couldn't continue schooling because the man saw something in me and he wanted to grow me up.
But very soon in his life, he learned the hard way on giving up on certain dreams to be able to achieve other greater ones.
Initially, I wanted to be a footballer. I love football so much, so I wanted to be a footballer. But when I came, he was like, no, that is not my path. I need to focus on what is in me. So when I came, I was fixed to a certain portion into the company, that is the pattern making department. What we do is we produce any given artifact that is being given to us, which is being forwarded for foundry, that is casting. So basically, I was taught how to manipulate or duplicate any given artifact. And that will be forward forecasting.
Doing art for the last 12 years, Promise says his biggest trick has been learning the skill of being observant rather than being engulfed in a lot of youthful exuberances.
It's been 12 years now since I've been here, and it's all about work. Because of that, I was taught how to observe things, not to get involved in any activities, that is parties, friendship, so many things. What I do is focus on the work, what I can do for myself, and what is given to me, how I can grow on it and then inspire the world. So through there, I realized I have this strong ability, I have this strong imaginative ability. Whatever I set my eyes on, or whatever I picture, I can then bring to reality. So from there, I began to sculpt things out. So whatever I get, any material that I find, I just try to do something with it, create something with it, whatever is inside here. So that is what I've been doing.
He lost friends because work became his only friend. But he admits this also allowed him to explore a lot of his creativity.
At first, I was really having fun with it. I wasn't thinking about the business aspect or the money aspect. It was just fun, because that was the only thing that I have. I don't have friends. I don't have friends though. Yeah. So the only friends that I have was my work and what I can do. So as time goes on, people will see that and will be like, wow, hey, where's Scout? But I'm not much concerned about the money though. I'm much concerned about what I can do, how people get inspired or how people get happy when they see the work. So that was what was happening till, I think that was 2 years ago, when he was like, yo, what you're doing is enough. There's money in it, so okay, you will not go, but you'll be here and I will then get your company for you. Then you can be within the company and do whatever you want to do. So as time goes on, if you feel like going, you can go.
Being an adopted grandchild of Apostle Kwejo Safo, Promise came to learn another difficult life lesson, that not everyone needs to be schooled formally to attain certain heights in their lives.
So what I'm talking about, I'm talking about Apostle Dr. Kwejo Safo. He was the one who adopted me into his family. And then he is the one who has been taking care of me since my childhood. And he's the more reason why I didn't attend or continue education there. Because he felt like what is within, it wouldn't go with what I'm going to learn at school. And really, I wanted to be a footballer, like I said, but going to school, I don't know if I were to continue schooling, I don't think I will be able to be doing what I wanted to do, because all my life I just feel like being myself. I'm the reserved type. I want to do things my own way. I don't want to do things the way regular thing. No, I just want to take my own path, face the challenges, and then create something out of it. That is me. So when he saw that in me, he took time and then grew me up. Do this, take this out, do this in life. That is what you have to do.
Does he consider his upbringing a challenging one? Promise thinks otherwise, because he says he has come to understand the uniqueness of the path he is taking.
He always said this, life is all about capital U. So he tells me, you came here, you came on this earth for a purpose. So you should find out your sole purpose and then know how to work around it. That is the reason why you came here. So when he told me that, okay, at first I wasn't getting it clear, because I was like, yo, we should have fun. But he was like, it's not about fun. We are not here because of fun. We are here to inspire other people. We are here to work on our sole purpose. That is why we're here. So what I always remember is he always say like, life is all about you, capital U, how you make it. So whatever you do should be you shouldn't do something that will affect the third party, sorry. So it should always be like you have to be a stepping stone to inspire other people. So that is what keeps me going most of the time. But just that when you're taking this path, it takes you away from so many things. There are so many sacrifices that you have to do. You have to take away certain things so that you will be more focused on what you want to achieve in life. So he taught me a lot. Financially, everything, he is the responsible for me being who I am today.
It might appear Promise's story is one of being born with a golden spoon in his mouth, but he says he has also had a taste of poverty. He considers himself lucky because he had a good teacher.
Even if you have what it takes to inspire the world, if you don't have certain things, that certain ingredient that will speed you up or spice you up, you can still not make it. Especially if you don't have a good teacher, someone who can lead you in life. For me, I'm lucky. Even though I have not furthered my education that far, I had a good teacher, someone who knew the path, someone who was able to push me along the way. Man, for this place. Sometimes it got to a time. Sometimes apostle will just mislead you. Then you go and then you crash. When you come back, then he will tell you, good. Mistakes. It's good for you to make mistakes in life. It makes you harder in life.
Through his art, Promise dreams of solving some problems of this world.
I'm not a materialistic guy. That is okay. I was being tamed to. So I'm not moved by materials. I'm moved by what I can do. I want to be the reason why someone sees me and be like, wow, I can do it. Wow, hey, this guy was able to do it. Yeah, I want to be the reason why someone is being uplifted. So I'm not moved by trending things, material things. No, I want to solve problems. I want to solve people's problems. So I just look at the problem around and then I fixed it into what I want to do.
The young man as he is, Promise confesses that there was a point in his life where he felt a great aura of loneliness around himself.
It got to a time I was very lonely because apostle wouldn't let you go out, no phone, no parties, nothing. It's all about work 24/7. So it got to the I don't have past mates like schoolmates, best friends, those kind of things. So it got to the I realized I was sinking. So the only place I can talk, and I don't like talking much, so I talk through my artworks. That is where I discover I can do things with my arms. So what I want to say, I'll just put it through my artworks. So some artworks talks about gratitude. For instance, it got to a time that I wanted to set up a business. That was a food business, and I picked people who were close to me, thinking if you have people who are close to you, things might grow up. Because I love teamwork. I want to achieve things with the people that are around me, people that I love. But I got to realize human beings, you can never predict human being. Humans, we are something else.
Promise believes that being an introvert, this has helped him to master the ability of being patient, a trait that has helped him perform better at his craft.
When they let me down, the grief and how I felt, I printed into my art piece, that is gratitude. When way back when I felt like I was in poverty, when I couldn't explore, I couldn't bring out what I was meant to do, then I created the Escape from Purgatory. I printed that one into the art piece. Yeah. So when I got to understand nature, that there's life in everything, I created the other piece behind you. So that is what I used to do. Instead of me talking, voicing my feelings out, I implement into my artwork so that it will inspire other people. Like, yeah, when it comes, hey, what piece, then I'll tell you the story or the message behind that kind of thing. So that is how most things happen to be. In everything, there are two sides. So in some way, it has affected my life in the bad way a little, because since I'm kind of more reserved, when times come where I need to express myself, like I need to open up, because I believe in the kind of education I believe is what we having right now. At the end of the day, I learn something, you also learn something. So practically, if I'm able to open up, basically I'm going to learn something out of what we are going to share. But since I'm more reserved, I most of the time keep mute and not observe things. But the best part for me being in that state, I have the power to observe things and then get to know things very well.
The best lesson he has learned from studying under the great Apostle Safo is the one about being truthful.
Talking about Apostle, I've learned so much from him, because there's this thing it talks about when it comes to work. He will be like, "Oh, first job, pisca." So whatever you're doing, make sure you do it to your maximum point, because the first work is not for income. That is what for short, he will be like, let your work talk for you, don't do the talking. So whatever if you really want to do it, just work your ass off, try and then get to the very last bottom of it, so that your work can talk for you. So
what has been your most challenging thing in life? That was my next question to him.
Most challenging, there are a lot though. Ups and downs in life. I do meet challenges. Like, okay, let's say, you see, since I was being tamed from the outside world, even though I'm in Ghana, I always say here is not Ghana, because the kind of system here is different from outside there. So the most challenging thing is, one, I do feel like I'm behind time. I'm not able to cope with other beings outside. I'm talking about other people outside. As I almost speed you up, I'm a kind of a bit slow. That is one. And two, how to sell my things out, how to sell myself. I always want my work to talk for me, rather than me selling myself like, yo, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. And the third, the most challenging is, even though I'm living with money, it's hard for you to get the money. I know if you are getting me. Even though I know if I go to that, I want to do this, then I'm going to get it. You will not get it that simple compared to other people who might get it simple, because he wants you to pass through the hell to get, so that when you get it, you will know how to value what you have right now.
Regrets? Let's hear what he has to say.
I love what I do, and I love who I've become. The little regrets I will say I have is, even that one quite minor. It's I don't have friends. I don't have people that I can look up to and say, and these are my friends, these are the people that I hang up with. No. That is what I would say. Yeah. Personally, but when publicly, maybe I would say, apart from say the system, it's natural, like it's normal. The system is not working effectively to support whatever we want to do.
On display in Promise's little studio are a number of art pieces with many depths, but he breaks them down for us. He also shows us what his perfect piece is.
Growing up, I got to understand life. Life isn't easy as it is. So when I came to understand life, I got to realize there are a lot, when I talk about life, there are a lot into it. Life wasn't programmed to be easy the way it should be. It's a puzzle that one needs to fix. I'm talking about your soul script, the purpose. If you're able to fish out the purpose of you, the reason why you are on this earth. So most of my art pieces here are based on life philosophy and life itself. So talking about this, but most of them are not done completely, maybe 80 to 75%. So talking about this talks about hear evil, don't hear evil, speak no evil, view no evil. So that is this. This talks about our democracy, our system, talking about the country we live inside here. Democracy is, let me say, a little bit messed up, because I know democracy is a system that is not used to govern a country, because it's a freedom of justice or whatever it is. So everyone is entitled to do whatever it is, even if it's going to help or not help the country. But we have original born leaders who were drafted or brought to this earth to govern our country. So talking about other countries, they have people who are picked to govern a country, not the public. So this can ever talk about chieftaincy. They are original born with it to be a leader. We are not picked like a mandatory system. So this one talks about democracy. This one talks about the brain, the key to life. Your whole being, everything depends on your mind. For you to be successful, for you to be poor, whatever it is, it's all based on your mind. So if you're able to master your mindset over your emotion, you can make it in life. This one talks about blacks. Blacks is beauty. Talking about acts, it's we blacks. The way we talk, the way our culture, our food, our dress, everything. So black is golden. This one talks about a philosophy in life, the struggle in life. You can see the hand is penetrating through the rocks. So in life, when you are determined, focused, and you have aim, you can penetrate through any struggle in life. So you can see the blood rectifying whatever it is. This one talks about our country, Ghana. I'm not done though, I'm not done. This one talks about, it projects the number of resources we have in Ghana, and the second one here talks about the other way around. We have been all the resources, but still Ghana is still not having its original page. This one too talks. This is my perfect page. This talks about a broken portal. We have ups and downs in our life. Humans sometimes makes us shifts from our main core. So talking about a broken portal, we all have our inner God that talks to us, that directs us. We are God in our own image when it comes to this earth. This planet, we are God. We are God. So when your portal is complete, that is where you are able to communicate with your inner God. But if it is broken due to the ups and downs in life, that is when you are not able to communicate with your inner God. So you do whatever will serve you right, not your rightful purpose. So this is the broken portal. So talking about this is I think the bigger of this section, and this one talks about blacks and its slavery. So you can see the hand depicting the white man and the black skin depicting we blacks, as here how the white has enslaved us by being enlightened with the truth of the originality of we the blacks. Okay, sure. This one I was being inspired by a movie that I spied. That was Thor. So I was being inspired by, but the original concept was to be upside down. That is to project Okonfa knife, the one that he used to. He is a god, so that is the initial idea for this. This one talks about the power of the tongue. How powerful our tongue is. How you should be very mindful of what you say, because that might work. It not might work, it will work. The powerful of the tongue. So the gesture of the thing it projects when you are the other side. That is when you are in the bad side. You should know of what you say, so that you know the effect of what it might bring. This one talks about social media, how people are living other fake life. So you can see the gesture inside, the person is in pains. But if we are able to turn the social media to educate ourselves, we're projecting the raw and unfiltered situation in our community to solve other problems and even to motivate other problems. That will be more better than we projecting the life of let me say a fake life. You can see people projecting money and stuff, which is making other people feel like I'm a catcher problem. So if we can be real to ourselves, okay, that one will help. So this one talks about the social media aspect. This one is my favorite piece that talks about the old gods. We have gods in our midst. So we are God who takes a form of humans, but within they are living gods. So like talking about Nkommo Woho, there are so many gods that came to Ghana. They have invaded Ghana. So this one talks about those pieces. So with the wooden the plaques aspect, luckily we've worked with most people like TV3, TV Africa, TV3 that is Talented Kids, and then GhanaWeb is Beautiful. TV Africa, that was Amazing Child. We worked with Jima, we work with Spotlight, most of them. We've worked with Ghana Rising Star. We've worked with most people that I can even count off here. So and then GhanaWeb Excellency Award as well too. So we've worked with so many people that I can't even count off here. Sure. I have in the spring department, we have the construction. Okay, so I have roughly 20 to 25 workers. Talking about my company, it's a segmental company, so that there are various segments within it. So with the arts section, that is my outlet piece, so I do them alone. But when it comes to the plaques, I have the spraying department that takes care of that one. So I have 2 spraying guys, and then with the plaques section, I have workers. When it comes to the construction, which my big sis is heading, he's like an architectural drawing. So he and she and the workers, that is almost like 15 workers so far. Yeah. So the other department, that is the wooden, we do indoors decorations, then sofas, then stuff. So that aspect too, we have workers. So it's a segment where each segment has its own workers. Unlike this part that I do alone, the other part we have workers over there who do work there. Okay, so basically these art pieces are not for sale. The initial idea was to educate Ghanaians on the value of the art piece, because looking at the other countries, artworks do really sell, but here we don't patronize artworks. Hey, but when the white guys come here, they'll be like, wow, that is money. So okay, so I realized that it's the perception. They don't really understand the worth of the artwork. So okay, I'm going to use this to educate my fellow Ghanaians. So be like, oh, this is they should know the reason why we draft something like this. These are written knowledge that has been encrypted into the art piece that need to be decoded. So that is what for the arts aspect. Even though looking at our previous and the future, we're just praying that a time will come that our people will get the value or the perception, that perception of the low valueness of the art piece will vanish, and then they'll also embrace the importance or the worth of our art piece. Because blacks, we're talking about artworks, it's we blacks. We are the definition of blacks.
Young as he is, Promise believes the country can do better for the creative arts industry, and this is how.
We, the youngest artists in Ghana, wouldn't travel from here to other countries to go and then improve that country. But we want to be here to be able to improve our mother Ghana as well. So any positive person out there who would love to support the movement of the creative industry, they should really help, and then so that we can also project whatever we have inwardly to, so that the next generation who will come after us will also have a part to step on or pass through.
This story of Promise truly begs the question about the kind of concentration and attention we give to the creative arts industry. But we hope that you've been truly inspired, as we always do here on the Untold, here on GhanaWeb TV, with me, Eche Atisu. Remember, there is news for you when you log on to www.ghanaweb.com. And as always, be kind to one another.
Miss Matisse and Yam was so common. If you want train, a man resign on train only says scanner on Pomna, scanner by no on train on Yans and Obakawa. We heard about the trouble in Paradise on Wednesday, July 18, when it was reported that head coach of Asante Kotoko, Prosper Nate Ogum, has resigned verbally as the head coach of the club. Several incidents have happened, which shows that there is a clear confusion in Asante Kotoko. But today, on Sports Debate, we interact with Asante Kotoko fans on how they feel after hearing that Prosper Nate Ogum has resigned from the club. Should he be allowed to stay, or just like some board members and management members are saying, nobody is bigger than Asante Kotoko. So if he wants to leave, they should show him the exit door to leave. My name is Stella Shanelly, and welcome to this episode of the GhanaWeb Sports Debate right here on GhanaWeb TV. Follow me and get some interesting answers as I interact with some Asante Kotoko fans on the streets of Accra. Alright, so we're back on this episode of the Sports Debate right here on GhanaWeb TV. We are talking about the reported resignation of coach Prosper Nate Ogum, PhD. There's been a lot of banter between some board members and management members, but today we speak to the fans whether they want the board to persuade him to stay or they should allow coach Ogum to go. GhanaWeb TV. So we are going to call what is a Prosper Nate, a doctor, who are resigning from Kotokono, then and about it?
Oh, first of all, as a me support Kotokono, me news, I am a shock. That day, the old day, my me confused because coach, I would imagine like it. Now, I'm suspect to say, or you good coach at the mommy meeting. But me remutate as a coach, a professional coach. Now, team now, as you say, only management in Temu Engo at the same time, playing body into Temu Engo, we can maintain you. Okay. It's me. I have the Miminia news sources in the now, so I resign. I'm so happy because I didn't change my team anymore. Into Omunjan okay, into a Prosper Air Choir. You have a ball list of coaches we are on to me a replacing or Mobo Ibrahim Tanko, Ignacio Sefosu, Omabo Bodian, why and then go share him say, Dr. Airquay, company for ever fan say, Ombedi team name. Especially Ghana Animal say a back critical say so you be a why you be that and all experience and no yepe blacks okay especially metimi on common CK and Kasa CK Akono and Ibrahim Tanko okay no the sources of the nation send a boy born if no munim so ko fa broni fi a the bar a fe no start bibia foforo onim stand a style of play no onim stand yet here it made me prefer say either CK or Tanko on one back no me take over and alright, so if Prosper Nate Ogum, if he has resigned from Asante Kotoko, they should allow him to go. And then he is advocating for the return of CK Akono to Asante Kotoko, or they should give the job to Ibrahim Tanko. He has handled the various national teams as head coach of the Under 23 and also an assistant coach to the Black Stars of Ghana. Should Kotoko maintain Dr. Ogum even though he has resigned, or they should try and persuade him for him to stay? Let me speak to a couple of Asante Kotoko fans. Alright, so you said you support Accra House Vogue. Last year, Dr. Ogum led Asante Kotoko to win the Ghana Premier League. That's defeating you as the defending champions. What you say, Ogum, were resigning from Kotokono, from House of Folk Airport to the Center of Fine News?
Oh, Madam Avana, you are you say, I born home. I don't like Gama Kotoko. You know, if you are a person or another team. But I understand, Kotoko coach Ekwana. Oh, I am it. Say a challenge now on my way. So, a person or coach challenging them out, some call it pizza above one.
Indeed. Now has funny be a case or Shomo last season, and some person or Tina or send a bear next season. Or me to me at your Mokano Yadri.
Pachan. No, we are going to
until the Yakotoko Castle Mompamo or so called Munjano Quino. Then I will catch up to fans or Moshe.
Oh, the catcher was always our tema preaching. That was our last chance. We went to my Viamo, some of what wrestling in Tino. Oh, no, papers are what my issue. It was our tema. What to me at the wrestling in Amon. All
right, so from a phobia to all porcupines out there, give Ogum the time to work, even though he has already resigned, according to some reports, verbally in a Zoom meeting. They should try and persuade him for him to stay because the club will be competing in the CAF Champions League in the 2022-23 season. Coach Prosper Nante Ogum last season, none more than to say.
The money bond there, no, because coach I watch leg there. I said, why name maybe Amakotoko. You know, me tell say, why resign on snow. I'm in tears about some penny phone on snow. Tawanted do a moyano. I'm more beer, and once the tears coach now resign. Coach, so what the cap amount there, and your coach get well. It is a big one, or I think I'm not Namoka. As I say, your co-fan, I feel on a team. No, oh, there's a beer no do a winning team there. See as a son. You go for blue for about 10 days, we different. To be the do on betting idea was a come here. Now put to Samba back.
So, open self, Ogum Samba back.
Samba back. Zoba back, I be here for from no. When you team that. Your banner there, or no, didn't I feel no better team who from. Well, will be all back from. I feel no better should be out, but said there, will be a yatu abanwa winning. I would want to take Kunyanoso. Any of Boo Flower Samba. A difference kakra than temper.
And say in the event, say, one babacano, Coach Ben, and I'll show a bit to me because Oma, ye di kind, and Omokasai, almost say, Kamuko Fasika on Sambra. And I say, Ibrahim Tanku, and so Coach is Ben on war, Ghana, see how you so much to me, a C prosper night.
Oh, if you would seek your best, I'll bet you listen. So, in case of ma, seek your best, seek your or also when you team, fine, and take our bar and super.
So, I'm on coffee,
seek your best.
Alright, so we are still here on the sports debate right here on GhanaWeb TV, and we are speaking to Kotoko fans on how they feel about the reported resignation of Coach Prosper Nante Ogum. Are you a Kotoko fan? Let me hear from you in the comment section. Should he be allowed to go, or the board should do everything within their power to make him stay for Africa next season? And Pacho Mwakwaba GhanaWeb TV. So we are Kotoko ni what is a Prosper while resigning already kind of saying I was passing.
Eddie Kano, Madamas. Say, I brought you, sir, Prosper Nante Ogum, as a coach, or resign, to be frank. Me and the MT, I'm here, but I'm 24 Cabrane, Yamana Bede. On a dinner, and I Yamana Juma, and I all year, and I'll say a brass from 70 million money be a man. So, I don't want coach. Baba Santico Sebi, a brass one in the Jumedia day, at Honoma, where they all call. So to me, they material, if I'm having a hammy, but Minimusia and Nippon Juma, and to know answer that I'm going to be bringing.
And some men now, what it's on Fremoma and on a chess and on a ma coach, you know, or resigning.
You know, to be frank, some no Casino, and Pennyfonsia then she should be say, coach, you know, any salary, and I say, whatever, I don't know. And a coach in Sunyama Bontain, I'm a country, evangelist supporters, and I say Ghana for you now. And then, if I say management now, Nana on Sandano, Omofa, coach, Prosper Nante Ogum, let it be any day, and come on on Ponsa. And just a minute here, to say, I can say, a yak can, and I central for Obia day, Air Canada. I never channel with the fire, now radio station with the fire, a TV station with the fire, and me say, and they say, as now I'm not telling me, say, no, you better Sambia say, now ya can hear panel on to say, Nana on Samba Bontain, not coaching Friday about Bontain, but Ninamuno, when can you Sambia now? You drag us somewhere today, but by this time, because first of all, as Antico, there were Africa, there was pre-season, as under Honomo, friendly matches, any other Honomo, I say what Tom says in the you see more already no management at the letter, but say, and now they are Tom says, you know, Mecrano, Bocrana, Camiso Santico court, because I say about top 4, now about Tom says, I don't know, or Miss about top 4, 1 year, no, I'm a room, they found them to Honomo. What I said, I'm trying to see, and then your man air bar, and then your man away anymore. You see, and you say, you see a baby call a friend say, training tour. What I say, I will take it. Nina, yes, Shaya, management today, and then go up. Now, within the Saturday, now, coach, Nate Prosper na Togum so okwa it's a very sad
in the event say coach na ekono coaches be no more Ghana obetumi edu say subu say e de adwuma no ma we a oba obetumi ato adwuma no so pepepe
so far say league and able krom had me say yenim team bia coach performance ya o done dey e say 2021-2022 season ya dey ba na wie enti no say ubusam say ya mitimi ema wo me coach say on the same transfer atwe ho ya mas assessment nyanduru ho ye penifo say twunu ho no ma empam that empedanta nti nyanduru ho no mo a say coach na Togum so wo kwa then penifo asande ko the board of directors ene ye penifo kudama ene ye wo omo so a omo ka bia de ewom twati asente de nya de big deal crowd the time no so am gidi say penifo epepe coach ya no akokwa te say na Togum na say ye wo coaches lot of coaches are omo ba asante ko abaji league abaji Africa Champions League ya dey e dey ma ye no munyina omo we ente na say do Ogum so na so Ogum so ntimi coach asante ko bia ma me we no kanya de bia asaka na eye ho ha eye issue o krom han mi say ana so betina sa coach ana pa am no bia to for clock am no ka say ababa nyum say so clock no I resign on your and they are normal football.
All right, so you heard him. If Dr. Ogum has resigned, they should let him go and then plan on the way forward because they've already secured a venue for their preseason in Turkey. So if the coach is not ready to work with the Porcupines again, they should cast their net wide and try and get in another competent coach like the 46-year-old former Wafa coach. Today we came purposely for Asante Kotoko fans, but as you know, we can't talk about Kotoko without House of Folk fans adding their voice to the conversation. But last season, Dr. Nate Ogum won the league, thus beating House of Folk as the defending champions, and he beat them to in Kumasi. Where House of Folk say Nipo Beje League no ma Kotoko if you musem no okono edi kan no na mo reaction to say
yo mechi watifo na madawase ene afidi kesi ya konya kasi amodi amaye do Dr. Nate Ogum oye Asante Kotoko coach na so far as oye coach no coach bia so wana said yes say one man say o man be coach your team we na agreement so man be bibi mama oba no o no commendation we say then or the two manim so the two manim na say mo yama no dia obetuma ya den obetuma continue we no do so oba no dia o ka say mo yama no place o ka say mo toto no o man to dia o hona no no afo so ye na o de den o de je lake
nso nkwa na so ntra
masa dia aba ne dia o ye say ono ase wa resign a ye has for your preso say den oba ye oba resign
until just resign na yo de
enye me dem but o say akade na wo say the man no de adwuma no onya sa akade na wo be say na we deliver way na Kotoko team no so anya team ketuwa obaka say wo Kotoko wo the players be fichi bi na den na if wo dey abo match and we so we lose 1 or 2 matches e dey o mapam e to no say so no afọ na wan adwin say sifia no o mo man players o betuma na o dey Africa wo wan ko Africa no on ko be papa dia and oboye den obetwa contract on Kotoko wo mu enti e dey yetisa no na e ye Japan.
All right, so he was happy when he heard that Prosper has resigned from his role as the head coach of Asante Kotoko. Me another has fan Kotoko for SS Amobuedu omo dia enu nti say Prosper say okwa omo catch omo penny for say we dey assembly amba Samobuedu cry he neni nti o has omo mba has no omo mba fa buedu embra Kumasi.
Tumi de mamu abaso maboduma pride ma be pan mabonya mission na yo to focus dia me metia ana emisre Prosper ya fast yo blapani Prosper ko coach no o ya fast ana na dum su don so obi a doctor bia so no like na dune adredent me so unu obi ya dum ne nipa no obi run dem no
na ne da no odo place no e be 4 na pipa ba ko age ba ko ay ma ozo se ni senipa na ne adwuma no ozo se senipa no na adwuma ye dey edo because ozo ka say wa resign no ozo ay fa kan say won fa leta bia ma boni say wa resign because o hwe na ne ampansa no o papa mo no isi no nya ono ba boni say o dwuma adwuma ni bem no o mo ne ampansa so yin say no so dwuma adwuma ni bem dia ana be pam no ana mo say o pam no so 2 seasons dey o sign isi o bo 1 season ka 1 season na o pam na o benya second no mpeni fo no enu mo friend no ozo okwa no okọ board meeting no o de na ampansa wa ma wonu obi yaduma ma ne kwan dey energy I the place on what the yaduma no mo ton players na abra no coach onye dey onya we masa yes supporters ye nsem no ya team blow enya mpeni fo no won enya je say omo ne ya de omo ye say omo ya board members board chairman no mo na omo kuta dike se bia cho bia masa ya enya nkwala wo gan na ha
wo ya has ni senka insam e kwaso okotoko na team no shake asenka say yo de
oh tumini dia meme asantini ana asani kotoko no na dia what I say otumfo no atam otumfo kwa okotoko ne dia o otumfo okotoko ne dia na dia de ne dia pade no no de ono e na atwa no so heso de ne dia nti say BBC esia me ana dem di hu ya ho say no alta coach ya wo season wie a waje league mo prepare sem ba ko Africa no na mo say chichna mo force say on resign what I say na resignation obi afa I didn't tell you zoom meeting now ma mu wie perform am aba man say coach resign I didn't know e was basa
into all farmers so on resign nko
me to me there na me fan beginning there bas na me fan so but this am match say na am so pam no into one train am na resign one train only say scanner on pam na scanner ba jino on train only answer na obekwa wako.
All right, so he is advising Dr. Ogum, if you are watching us, that from his sources Nana Amponsa has decided that he's going to fire you, so just wait, don't write your resignation, allow him to sack you so that you can take your bonuses for the extra year you have on your binding contract. Wrapping up on this episode on the sports debate right here on GhanaWeb TV, we're asking Kotoko fans how they feel about the reported resignation of Coach Prosper Nate Ogum. We spoke to many Kotoko fans. I have another one here to wrap the entire show up. Boss, we talk about GhanaWeb TV. So, Eddie Kaino, what is Prosper? One resign is a Kotoko human on your biono. Initial reaction, say no, see a fast no na or expected that, and I say it came as a shock.
So many amedasi na meboma basuni edwuma pa moye dare den na ehwemo na mo bom homodin pa ye me kan se me ye Kotoko supporter no na me hunu se coach no wababon homodin no te se me nua metiye no meti shock because coach we aba ama babia ye ntimi win no okofa win wo ho enti coach bi di say Karela kula ye kan se team ano wa sana wo ba no amanfo nhyɛ dem follow no ba oba Kotoko no utum sɛ wabe performing good ya obia cheke no enti coach bi say na wabo 1 season pɛ o say wa resign a we Kotoko supporter team no da wakoma so amini ni sɛ woni beje because obi a omo ne homode no sɛ o resign a ono kra on pɛ sɛ o resign le sake no kra na mo we ye wode but obi a obo ne homode yesu ye ni da Africa so what is say coach ya resign in fact me na meti no na I am to say dream bi na me so because manje leader
nti perform ne nkasama ne ontina wa na say dia dodo na ka say obi anso nche Kotoko mama ne nko no omunja no kwan
me say ya na otumfo eta aka asem bi say Kotoko no osum na osum ni ya me say ba bia onam bia di wachi enim say ye papa no coach no wabesum yie osum papa no wabesum mama Kotoko man no na they make can say kwa manfo pressure onko emwa because players were put out man for 1 season ye be kwa Africa ye say enim coach bi kra ye kofa no opam na why na okofa no ye okofa no onim players no afi na wo be hye ne kakra edide bia ye pen say Africa ne yenko so kwam ne yenya ngu ne yemra sa na anye sa na ye hwehwe no edi media me kwa madwen a empenifo enya abotrema no migidi say enye akoma paso ana ode resign because obi a oye adwuma pa de ade ntino obe resign but de oye no me say wa ma abrofo adwen na bantrim broni ya ade na wonte ne ho ase ana bibi nkoye mana ontwen say obeyi nadi obe resign but yen supporters binum de me gidi say enye nyina na ya adwen be ko banko but yeah supporters binom de ejiri say papa no so mo ne kasa na bebia na ye o mo de 2 years na okoso tena for be 2-3 season because oka bibi say opese wo jadi mpa bi etokotoko do obi a jadi mpa bi a de etiti nya di mpa na mejiri say yete no nti coach no ojaye mu in fact ebe ya because be yete say wawo akra wakoma dane so na sabio wa furunsa na o papa bi a ope na asem no furunsa ya pa nti
okay nti ye di wie no say in the event say coach no antena no kwa coach ben ene nka obi be recommend say kotoko enfa no na mo fa no kwa Africa
me de me gidi say kotoko de bi ka say broni coach emwaye enya Ghana ni coach a for sometimes obi kire wade na wote o kasa ase no wo kire wa e ma wote ade na si ni
return of siki akona na
oh me de baba bia me go me ntimi decide man penifo no but me to me ni de me pebro but e Ghana ni a obi e be fani bia because Johnson Smith ni e fi say ana oni set oni we enso oni madwuma wate ase wo ko share career forma Tanzania nko share o moda ndi obi a e fi say obetimi aye no ono na ye mfa ne me no na me de me say broni pa de me mum de mani nyi broni ho but ye nya Ghana ni na nani abre say obeya me ni problem ya.
All right, so with regards to the resignation of Prosper Nati, he wasn't really happy about it, but he's not also open to the club appointing an expatriate as a head coach. How did you also feel as a Kotoko fan when you heard that Prosper Nati has verbally resigned as the head coach of Asante Kotoko? Let me hear from you in the comment section. It has been another episode of the GhanaWeb Sports Page right here on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Stella Shanelly, and as usual, make sure that you comment, you like, and then subscribe. But do enjoy the rest of our program.
This is the Kakum National Park, which is located in the central region of Ghana. It's about 4 hours drive from Accra and is the most visited park in Ghana. It has 7 suspending bridges and a long canopy walkway, which is about 27 meters above the forest floor, from trees that are over 300 years old. On my last trip here, I slept in the tree house here at the Kakum National Park. We are going to Kakum. I've been to Kakum several times, but I had to go back again because this one hasn't really been there as an adult. She did when she was a child. So we are going back to Kakum, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's go. Guys, I'm currently at the Kakum National Park. I've been here several times. This is like my 9th time. So I want to give a quick shout out to West African Design for this beautiful bag. I'll leave all her details in the description box. So let's go. Say hi to Richard.
Hello.
So Richard is going to be our tour guide, and I'm here with Henrietta. Henrietta, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
So this is Henrietta's first time here, like apparently.
As an adult.
As an adult. We're about to start hiking. Today I didn't come with the appropriate shoes because I didn't think I was going to come here. I'm wearing slippers, but I would not advise you come here with slippers. Yes, so it's 25 cedis for locals. So we are local girls. So we paid,
local champions.
Yeah, we paid 25 cedis, and it's 60 Ghana cedis for foreigners. So any other nationality you pay 60 Ghana cedis.
We are climbing a hill on stones.
Oh, okay.
And that is about 250 feet high above the sea level.
Okay.
Sometimes climbing is difficult, and for that reason, we have 3 rest stops on the way. So at a point, you need a rest or a break. You draw the guide attention, or you draw my attention. We have enough rest before we continue. Yes.
Okay.
So,
so does this lead eventually to the canopy?
Yes, to the canopy.
There's some fresh palm wine.
Take a first stop here.
Even though there is palm wine around, I will not advise you to drink palm wine before climbing, because palm wine has the tendency of making you slow.
No doubt.
So you don't want to put yourself in that situation. You can take the palm wine after the trip. Wow, I'm so tired. I thought I had kappa. But then, yes, I have kappa.
Yeah.
I just have to take a little water and continue. So, let's go. So, Richard, how long have you been working here?
I've been a guide for the park almost 7 years.
7 years. And how long do you walk to the canopy walk in a day?
On holidays like yesterday, I do tours up and down 5 times.
5 times?
5 times a day.
Then that's like working and exercising at the same time.
So because of that, climbing and then that exercise, I always look like this. I don't go fat.
You don't go fat?
I always like this. Like this, yeah.
Okay, this is so exciting.
Days, on the normal working days, I do 2 to 3 times tours every day.
Every day?
Every day.
Yes. Oh, okay. So if you guys may know or may not know, I came here the last time and I spent a night at the tree house. And if you haven't watched that video, go back, watch the video. It was so exciting. At night, I could hear the monkeys. Yeah.
The tree haras.
Yeah, the what?
Tree haras.
Tree haras.
Yes,
They're not monkeys.
The tree haras look like monkey.
Yeah.
But they are not. They don't have tail.
Oh.
You see, monkeys are having tail, but the haras doesn't have tail. They make a loud noise every night.
Yes, and it sounds like they were mourning.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was telling Henrietta.
I was so excited about that part.
It's like, and it was, if you are someone who like can't sleep with noise, you really have a problem, because the noise was so loud. It felt as though they were close to you. Yeah. So it's exciting. If you are an adventurous person like me, I think it's a must try whenever you're in Ghana. It's a must try whenever you're in the Cape Coast. It's a must try whenever you are in the central region.
So we are now at the entrance of the Kakum Canopy walkway, and we have 7 bridges to cross or to do this afternoon, which height ranges from 11 to 40 meters, and 40 meters is the highest point, and that's about 131 feet. So in case you are not used to heights or you're not okay with heights, we say do not look down whilst you are walking. So that's very simple for you.
So we are starting the canopy walkway, and this is the first. And this is me, Stella Shanelly, doing this again and again and again. Hetty, you good?
I'm coming.
Okay. This is the first bypass for people who are scared. Hi. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
You're also a tour guide here?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. So for people who are scared, this is the first bypass. Yep. You only use 3 of the canopy walk, then you exit. For people like us, we are going to use this. It extends to this side, and there are 7 in all, right?
Yes,
7 rope courses, and we've done 1, so we have 6 more to go. And the one we did was the easiest. I mean, one of the things you don't get to see in Accra is a beautiful forest like this right here at the Kakum. Look at this. Have you visited Kakum National Park before? If you have, let me know in the comment section. So this is the last rope course, and this is very easy, and it's so close to the land. As you can see the ground from here, and the tall trees. Yeah, this brings us to the end of the experience. We are going to hike down just as we came, and yeah, I'm waiting for the rest, Henrietta and our tour guide Richard, for us to go.
After crossing all seven.
After crossing all seven.
After taking all 7 bridges to the end or to the exit points, we say congratulations for able to survive all the 7 bridges of Kakum.
Yeah.
For
conquering.
Yeah, for conquering your fears. And I hope it has been a good experience.
Really.
For all of us.
Yeah. Yes, it has.
We'll be happy seeing you here again next time.
Sure.
Join us to take the Kakum Canopy Walkway once again.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So coming from Richard, he is hoping to see you here the next time. Hey T, what's your experience?
Oh, it's been great, guys. I was a little scared in the beginning, but yo, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Yeah.
So easy for people.
Yeah. And the good part is descending down the hill is not as difficult as climbing up, ascending. So yeah. Yeah, after the long day. Yes. So guys, just where we ended the tour, look at that. It's about to rain, but yeah, we're leaving here now. Let's see what they have at their store, African store. After seeing the Kakum National Park, we got a bus to Hans Cottage, which is very close to Kakum National Park. So we are going to see crocodiles. I'm super excited. This pond has crocodiles in them, and I've been here before. This is my second time. I have a full video of this place, and so if you want to check it out, come on. They also have like a floating restaurant. This is how it looks like. We paid 30 Ghana cedis each to see the crocodiles. So these are the crocodiles. Yeah.
Reels or pictures?
This is the crocodile. So this is how the crocodile looks like. How old is this one? God is so wonderful. Look at how they look. And this is the oldest. Okay, you can touch that one. This is the oldest. He is 45 years old. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed documenting my entire experience here at the Kakum National Park. Until next time on my next video, go show some love to Henrietta.
Yes, head over to my channel and watch more amazing travel videos.
Yes.
Yes. This is to us and more trips. Yes. Give me 5.
Asante King, who is wearing the Adwina San. That is the name of the kente cloth he's wearing.
Okay.
And that symbolizes the end of thinking or the end of knowledge.
Is just a glimpse of everything you get to experience in that beautiful edifice that has served Ghana for over 50 years. In 2015, the National Museum was closed for major renovations and was reopened just last month in June 2022. I'm going to tell you and show you why a visit to this place is a must. Welcome to another season of People and Places here on GhanaWeb TV. We took a little break after the first season, but now we are back. And trust me, this season will be full of surprises and fun. I'm so happy I can do this with you. My name is Wanda Amihagan. See you after the break. Welcome back from the break and thank you for staying with us. This is still People and Places right here on GhanaWeb TV. Like I told you before, we are taking a tour around the National Museum. And to help us do this, we have Samuel Amega Jr. Hello. The gentleman right beside me. He has been here for close to 10 years. And he's the Senior Museums and Monuments Education Officer. He's going to help us have a glimpse of what you'll be enjoying if you visit the National Museum. Hi.
Hi.
And thanks for having us in your beautiful place.
Thank you very much. You're welcome to.
Thank you so much. So what are we expecting to see today?
Right. So inside the National Museum Gallery, you'll be seeing a lot of artifacts. And what I mean by artifacts has to do with objects of our creation, indigenous Ghanaian origin. And so you have objects that speaks to our history, objects that speaks to our culture, object that speaks to our traditions, an object that inspires us for the future. And these objects cut across all the geographical areas across the country. And so you have objects coming from the northern part of Ghana, the middle belt, as well as southern Ghana.
So some of the regions have been represented here?
Yes, most of the regions have been represented
here. Right. So where are we starting from?
Yeah, so we'll begin the tour from the right side. To begin the tour, actually, we have here this section on beginnings. So with the beginnings, now per archaeological evidence in Ghana, it's estimated that about 40,000 BC, where there's evidence of people who might have lived here in this present location called Ghana. And so, but historically, what we know as the first people to have been here in this country are the Guans. So they were the first settlers here. Every other tribe or every other ethnic group actually migrated into this territory and met the Guans. And then the Guans are actually spread across the entire country. From the north, they form something like something similar to a question mark on the Ghana map. So it's from the north all the way through the Bota North, through the eastern region, and then it comes into the southern part of Ghana, that is the coastal area. So the Guans are scattered all over the country. Right.
So these are like stones that represent the first
Ghanaians, and how they use them and for what purposes that they use them. So we have a period coming from the late Stone Age period into the Middle Stone Age period, as well as the early Stone Age period. Right. So you have these few objects here. Once you observe them, you see how sharp the edges look. And these were among the earliest ones used. That is the Achillean tool, and they were used for cutting. Yes, and the more cognition advanced, or the more advanced they became in their thinking, they created other stone tools that had a lot of precision, in terms of its cut and its shape.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm interested. How were things like this, artifacts like this, found and brought here?
Yes, they were actually excavated. So there are several places that are identified where excavation goes on to retell the past.
Right. So from the Stone Age part of the museum.
Yes.
Where next are we going to?
Yes. So it moves into the trans-Saharan slave trade. So with the coming in of other ethnic groups into this territory and then interacting with the first Ghanaians, it evolved into a system where we had a barter trade where you could trade with people. Of course, everyone needed something for themselves, which others had, and then you might not have. So you needed to exchange with them to get what you want. And so beyond the barter trade with the first Ghanaians and even among the other ethnic groups, trade went beyond our territory, our modern day territory, into West Africa and even into the northern part of Africa. And so you had a lot of, kindly come this way. So this is a map showing some ancient towns and places we have in West Africa. Hausa towns mostly found in modern day Nigeria, Timbuktu, which is modern day Mali. So Ghana is also situated somewhere here. And there were some commodities that was commonly traded from Ghana with West African people, and then those commodities found their way also into Northern Africa. Three of the main ones are gold, we have kola nut, as well as salt. Now, kola nut was so much desired because it helped traders who went across the Saharan desert, to keep up with the dryness or the dry nature of that territory. This is also another map showing some very old, or so to speak, ancient towns across West Africa. And this will lead us into another very interesting part of our exhibition, which is on the ancient Ghana Empire or Kingdom, as well as the modern day Ghana. Sometimes people do confuse the ancient Ghana Empire with the modern day territory called Ghana. And these are two separate geographical areas. This was an empire, so to speak, that had existed between the 8th and then 12th century. But by around the 13th century, it was destroyed by a more superior, a more sophisticated empire, which is the Mali Empire. And so this territory has been absorbed. It was destroyed and now absorbed by modern day Mali. But Ghana here today, or the name Ghana, was actually declared on this nation after independence, when we gained independence from our colonial masters in 1957. So our historians or our nationalists only adopted the name from the ancient Ghana Empire. And then
but
the name
they are
was,
not one and the same place.
They are not one and the same. These are two separate places, two separate territories. Right.
So next we move to...
Yeah, so we move to an excavation from a place called Hipambongo. That is up there in the northern part of Ghana, upper east region. And these are excavations from the Komaland people or the Koma people. Now, these excavations have been dated to around 1200, some of them 1300, and some 1100. And it speaks to the society in which the objects were found. Now, these are all baked or glazed clay, terracotta, so we call it terracotta. And that shows the level of civilization or the level of innovation, the level of sophistication that this society had at the time. So that's why you have.
But what do some of these things symbolize?
Yeah, some of them represent like animals from the community or the society. Others who are molded in a form for ritual purposes. Some for funerary objects. But one interesting thing about this particular Kumaland excavation has to do with the people, the Busa people, or the Kuma people, as well as the object. Now, when the archaeologists found the objects, it appears it's a little bit distinct from the people. And so the people, per their oral traditions and their history, don't really know how it came about or who had them. Because they were not the people that created this object, but these objects were found within that particular territory. Yes. But our historians, our archaeologists are still ongoing with their research to get the exact, progenitors to this particular object. And you realize that some of the objects have been indicated on it as confiscated. Yes, we are fighting, or there's a big war against illicit trafficking of cultural goods by antiquity thieves and then being sold on the international market. So the Ghana Museums, in collaboration with the Immigration Service and other partners, once we discover any person, with any cultural goods which is of national interest to us and it was not acquired legally, the objects have to be confiscated and brought to the National Museum.
So some of these were actually confiscated?
Some of these were actually confiscated from antiquity thieves.
I see.
So you can help us by,
spreading the word.
Spreading the word and telling people about some of these
Definitely.
objects. There's also a very interesting object here. Right up there, you see something like an image of a person who has something like wings. Yes, with something like cowrie shells on the neck. So within that society, culturally it's believed that we have spirits. And then among the spirits, we have bad spirits like witches or witchcraft. And so that is to depict witchcraft or the representation of witchcraft within that particular society. Yeah, that's why you have, and it's believed that witches fly at night. Yeah. I haven't seen one myself though. I don't know about you. Yeah, but it's a cultural belief which, it's very peculiar to the people.
I see. Okay. Well, we would want to hold on. How many more areas or demarcations of the gallery do we have right before we take the break?
Yes, we are actually not done with the beginnings. We are still on the beginnings. We are yet to move to the state formation. Afterwards, we'll go to kingdoms, and then the final section will be on the nation after independence.
So you heard from Junior, there's more, there are more areas to explore here in the gallery at the National Museum. We want you to experience the whole thing for yourself. We'll just show you some pictures, more pictures about the beginning category after the break, and then we'll move to the other divisions where he'll tell us more about some of the artifacts and the various things we have here at the museum. But this is still People and Places. We are taking a short break. Enam will bring us facts about Ghana. We'll be right back.
And now, let's learn something interesting about Ghana. Ghana was initially called Gold Coast due to the rich alluvial minerals and large supplies of and markets for gold that existed there. That's all for this week on Facts About Ghana. Until next time, let's get back and learn more with Wanda and her guests.
We are back. Thank you for staying with us. Now, those were a few photos you saw from some of the things we have at the beginning section. Now we are moving to the state formation section, and then we'll move to other sections in the gallery. So Samuel, what do we have here?
Yeah, so in the state section, we'll be seeing some objects such as the war dress. We'll be seeing traditional architecture. We'll also be seeing some farm tools or implements that were locally manufactured or produced here. But aside that too, we have a video that talks about iron working or iron production here in Ghana. It will amaze you to know that by the first millennia AD, iron was already discovered here in Ghana. In places like Bego, Bono Manso, and as well as Daboya. These are places that iron was first discovered. And with the production of iron into implements and tools like the hoe, the spear, the sickles, and other implements, it aided in agriculture. So the more iron you had, the more farming you could do. And then once you have a lot of weapons, the more hunting you could do and the more game you could kill. It also helped craftsmen in working their crafts.
So can you now take us through the various, you mentioned the iron tools, right?
Yes,
These are some of them.
These are a few of the iron tools that we have. Hoes, for clearing or digging. We have the sickles. It can help you in even harvesting cocoa or even cutting grass. Yeah. Now you realize that some of them have elaborate forms. Now the bigger and the heavier ones, you usually find them from the northern part of Ghana because the land is usually very dry and hard. And so you need heavier tools to work the land. And then you have the smaller ones which are very common and mostly used here in Saro.
How old, an estimated year, would you say some of these artifacts are?
For these particular ones, I cannot really give you the specific date, but this should be coming from the 20th century period. Yes.
Quite old then.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have?
Here we have the traditional architecture. Yes, and this is very common in the northern parts of the country. Yes, where you have
it looks like a typical home setting.
Exactly.
In the north.
Exactly. This is for one big family. So you have a man, and traditionally the men could marry or have many wives. And then with a lot of children. The more children you have, the more farms you could work in.
And that's the farm, I suppose.
No, this is a animal quarters, a space for animals. And this is the home itself, the living quarter where the family stays together. And then the women have their rooms. The head of the family also has his room. Everybody has an activity to do within the house. And usually it's the women that do the coloring and then the painting of of the building, and then the men do the setup in the building itself. Yeah.
I now understand when you say almost every region is represented, because we've seen a few items from 1 or 2 places. This is the wardrobe.
Yeah, this is the wardrobe.
Okay.
This is the wardrobe. Now, in time past, when we are still on state formation, by the way. So in time past where people produced iron, and then they had iron tools like the spear, the bow and arrow, as well as the spear, it led to conquest of other smaller areas. And so warriors that fought, to defend communities had to protect themselves from shots, arrowheads, and spears. And so they had a war dress, which is laden with charms. Yeah, so the leather pieces you see on it are laden with charms to protect the warrior, so to speak. And so it's believed that it's actually, well, I've not tried one though.
Okay.
Yes, but it's believed this was very potent, it was very effective, and
protected
arrows, it protected the warriors from being hurt. Yeah.
Okay. But you see the difference between the two. Some of them have more of these.
More of the leather pieces, but the same function actually.
Okay.
The same function.
Okay.
Yeah, so the idea is the charms that is laden in the dress, in the costume, is what protects you, and not just the costume itself, and not just the leather. Of course, iron and arrowheads will go
pierce
through
with this
leather
at
easily.
any point. Right. Okay. And then we have.
Yeah. So before we move to this, over here we have the
the bows.
Yeah,
and
the bow and arrow, the
mentioned,
spear, and then the guns. Yeah.
Right.
And then this brings us into the clan system, or the clans, but this specifically is for the fancies. Yeah, so the fancies, every family here in Ghana belongs to a bigger family, which is the clans. And all clans are usually represented with different symbols or totems. And so specifically for the fancies, we have this here.
Okay.
You see the Adriana, you have a dog representing them. And sometimes, it's often said that you are not supposed to eat any animal that represents you, or it's your totem. Otherwise, something evil might happen to you. And aside that, too, the totems kind of reflect their character traits or the characteristics of the people.
I see.
So, like, for the dog, how very loyal a dog is. It shows loyalty. For a parrot, that shows eloquence. The parrot talks a lot.
Yeah.
And then they are very persuasive. You have the crow for integrity. The bretio, that is for the leopard. That shows a lot of bravery, a lot of boldness, courage as well. But there are several of them representing different.
Right. And these flags, what do they represent?
Right. So these flags here are for the warriors, the Asafo groups that we have here. And in time past where wars were fought, you needed a warriors organization to protect the chief as well as the community and the people. And so it's popularly called Asafo, especially among the coastal areas. So these flags represented each unit or each Asafo
you mean
group.
the people who usually paint their bodies?
Yeah, of course, they have this scarifications, they have a lot of paintings, they have a lot of sketches on themselves.
I needed to be sure
what
Asafo you were talking about.
Yes, the same people, the same people. That is to portray some fierceness, and they hold the flag, before, if it's any warfare, they have to go out for. And if it's a celebration of, now we don't have wars like it used to be in the past. So when festivals are being celebrated, to show their essence still, and their relevance still to the chieftaincy, they have their flags, and then you have the group itself.
So these two represent the Ashantis?
No, these are for Fanti areas.
Okay.
These are from the Fanti areas, so like the Chiman and some other places.
Right, okay. We are still at the state formation section, right?
Still on state formation. So that brings us into kingdoms. So once we come here, we are into kingdoms. Yes. Now, so for a representation of the kingdom, we are portraying here a traditional chief, particularly from southern part of Ghana. This could be an Asante king or chief. And then we have the queen or queen mother also seated or flanked by him. Yeah, so, beyond the state, those that had a lot of guns, a lot of weapons, were able to conquer other smaller territories, and then had some very huge kingdoms or authority in terms of land mass. And so this king here is colorfully dressed in his kente fabric. So let's use this for an Asante king who is wearing the Adwinasan. That is the name of the kente cloth he's wearing.
Okay.
And that symbolizes the end of thinking, or the end of knowledge, the end of the mind, literally. Yeah, so the idea is that the king must... Adwinasan. So the idea is that the king must wear the most prized, the most cherished, the most complicated and the most beautiful, elegant fabric at all times, compared to other sub-chiefs.
Okay.
Yes, so that is the idea for the paramount chief.
Have you always had this structure here? I mean, before the museum was closed down and renovated and reopened.
Yes, so we didn't used to have this, but to create, that visitor experience, to enhance our narrative, we decided to have this represented fully here.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
So that people can actually relate more with it.
This is absolutely beautiful.
Our folks who have never visited any festival or haven't seen any cultural area during any festival, once you visit the National Gallery, you can have a visual impression about how our chiefs are seated, and our queens as well during any Deba or festival.
These are, just to be sure, these are Ashanti representations, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Right.
And there's also a photograph here that is depicting how a chief or a king is carried, into
a palanquin.
Yes, in a palanquin into a festival or a ceremony or any occasion.
Okay.
So usually they don't have to walk in.
They are carried.
Very cherished. They have to be carried shoulder high before they are brought in.
Right.
The queen mothers or the queens are also carried. That's a depiction right there.
But that's a smaller stool or chair compared to
that of the king. Yeah. So we saw a representation on the architecture from the northern part, and then we have this for southern Ghana, but specifically this is for the Asantes.
Okay.
We call them the Asante traditional buildings. Yeah. So formerly these were the homes of the nobility, the chiefs or kings, noblemen, the affluent royals, as well as the priests, the traditional priests and priestesses.
Okay.
Yeah. So about 10 of these are scattered all throughout the Ashanti region. BCRC and some other places, you still find these buildings there, and it's actually under the protection of the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board. These are all world listed heritage sites.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyone can visit at any point in time.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, so we're almost skipping this. So that is the traditional weaving loom. So this is where the kente cloth or fabric is produced from. Usually the kente is woven in small strips, about maybe 4 inches by 12, and then you have these small strips of pieces joined together to produce a bigger kente cloth.
Right. So how much more do we have under this section?
Yeah, this is like the very, very last, almost the very last.
Okay.
And we'll talk about the kitchen and then we'll be done. Yeah, so this is for our northern brothers and sisters.
Chiefs.
This is for a northern chief. Yes, fully dressed, in his batakari or fugu, the smoke, with his royal hat also adorned. Yes. Now it's interesting how a chief is the one that has the fugu hat standing upright.
Yeah.
That shows he has the most authority. He's the overlord of the land.
Okay.
But other people too can wear the fugu hat, but you should not be competing with it. You have to turn it to
different
other
places,
angles and other places, just to represent other ideas.
Okay.
Yes, aside what the chief, has his representing.
Right.
Sometimes when it goes to the back this way, if you go to the back, you see people folding to the back, like to forget about the past. Let's keep our focus mostly on the future. It can go to the side, to the right side or to the left side. That symbolizes peace.
I'm actually smiling because we have an episode where we visited a smoke making site, and the guy explained the whole shifting and then the various positions of the smoke, and then what they mean.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's
you can share that video with the museum actually. We have here the Equiaba doors, which, you know, the Ashantis usually have the one with the circular head and a flat body. This is a representation of beauty. Fantis have the one with a flat head. Other ethnic groups also have DS.
Yes.
Yes. Now, in the past, it was believed that women who could not have children, or those who struggled with barrenness, would usually, you know, visit a shrine, a priest or priestess. You know, you would pour out your heart to them, and then you'll be given a doll to care for like a baby. In the process of doing that, you trust and believe in your gods, and then you are also giving your baby.
So that's for fertility?
That is for fertility. So this is our fertility doll, popularly called the Equiaba doors among the Akan community here.
Right.
And so once a baby is born, it goes through the naming ceremony. Yes, and this is also very celebrated. Any newborn child is welcome into the world. You are welcome to the family, you are welcome to the community, you are also welcome and presented to our ancestors during the naming ceremony. When a child also matures, especially the ladies, you get to puberty and you are a young adult, you are ready for marriage, there's a special occasion. This depot is for the Gandangis, where the lady is trained, you know, into womanhood. You are cultured, you are nurtured into all the nitty-gritties about being a female, how to take care of your home, yourself, your family, your husband, and even your business and so many other things. And then after marriage, you have your children, you know, the time comes when you die, and then you move into the land of the ancestors, or you move into the other side of life. Yes.
And then funerals are performed.
Funerals
are basically this section is supposed to give you like a brief history, or like it's supposed to take you through the various stages of life.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Which is celebrated or commemorated here in Ghana. Yeah, and these are actually terracotta figurines for burial, burial of our chiefs, particularly in the Akan areas. And that is the Egusia Kurua, which is usually used in containing potions or concoction that is used ritual cleansing of the dead chief or the body of the chief before eventually he's buried. So this will become servant in a grave and in the land of the ancestors. So it accompanies the dead body, and then it's believed that once a king, always a king, or once a chief, always a chief. So you need to be served in the next world that you find yourself. So this will become servant to the king in the next world.
Okay. There's so much to see, so many photos, so many artifacts, and so much history here at the gallery at the National Museum here in Accra. So we want to wrap up this episode, but we'll explore much more in the next episode with Samuel. Samuel, thank you for doing this with us.
You're welcome.
This is People and Places. I am Wanda Amihagan, and I did this with Samuel
Amegan Jr.
See you next time.
Which provides that the state shall take appropriate measures to promote the development of agriculture and industry. The minority leader is reminding us that that enclave could be the food basket of this country, so much dependent on the efforts of the people up north. They must be connected. If food that is produced gets rotten at the farm gates, it is a disincentive to the farmers to intensify the production of these food items. So, Mr. Speaker, I think what government is doing is really in the right direction. We are facilitating the movement of persons, goods, and in that part of the world, Mr. Speaker, particularly transhumans as well. Road network is facilitated by the construction of these bridges. I'm hoping, because, Mr. Speaker, I've traversed that route on a couple of occasions, at both Bupe and Yape. Mr. Speaker, we are looking at constructing the approaches so that the span of the bridge will be about 240 meters. That is required because, Mr. Speaker, if anybody goes there in the rainy season, we see what the flood waters do to the integrity of the roads. They themselves, what exists now, are filled up places. Because the embankment on the roads themselves are not properly done. And so, with the recent flooding, due primarily to climate change, we must ensure that the roads that will be constructed, the bridges that will be constructed, will be steely enough to resist the impact, the rampaging impact of the flood waters. Having said so, Mr. Speaker, I believe we are all adamant that we must support this facility, except to add to what the minority leader said, that we could promote water body transportation. What we need to do is really to ensure that we have very minimum evaporation of the waters in the water. These days, in the dry season, one can perhaps even walk across. How do you encourage water transport in such situations? We need to take the afforestation at the banks and protect the vegetation there from the wild bushfires that have become ritualistic every year, destroying the vegetation on the margins of the water bodies. Mr. Speaker, that will not facilitate water transport. So we need to do this protection first to ensure that the water body itself is serene, is clean, to attract investors. So, Mr. Speaker, today we are talking about the construction of bridges. Let us end there and support the facility. I thank you for the opportunity.
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, I put the question. Those in favour of the adoption of the report of the committee say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Accordingly, the report of the committee on the term loan facility agreement between the government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by the Minister of Finance and Standard Chartered Bank, London, for an amount of 97,721,615 euros and 91 cents, hereby adopted. Leaders, should I move to the resolution? Yes, please.
Speaker, items 23 and 26 on pages 17 and 19. Speaker, with your leave, to be done by the Deputy Minister of Finance, the Honourable John Kumar.
Honourable members, my understanding is that the request is for resolution number 23 and 29 be taken together. 26, right? 23 and 26. 23 and 26. Those two resolutions be taken together. Yes, Minister of Finance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that resolution items listed 23 on page 19 and 26 on 23 on page 17 and 26 on page 19 be adopted. I so move. Thank you.
Any seconder?
I'd like to
Yes.
second the motion.
Motion moved for the adoption of two resolutions and seconded. I put the question. Those in favor of the adoption of the two resolutions numbered 23 and 26 say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Resolutions numbered 23 and 26 on the order paper are accordingly resolved. Yes. Item.
Mr. Speaker, we go to item number 27, page 20.
Item 27 at page 20, motion. Chairman of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move that the procedural motion listed as item 27 on today's order paper be moved today. I so move.
Any seconder?
I second the motion, Right Honorable Speaker.
Procedural motion moved and seconded. I put the question. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Please, the substantive motion number 28.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise to move that this Honorable House adopts the report of the Finance Committee on the financing agreement between the Government of the Republic of Ghana and the International Development Association of the World Bank for an amount of $150 million United States to finance the Gulf of Guinea Northern Region's Social Cohesion Project. Mr. Speaker, in moving this motion, I would like to submit your committee's report. We met with officials from the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Local Government. The justification for the project, Mr. Speaker, is consistent with the main objective of ensuring a wealthy, inclusive, sustainable, empowered, and resilient Ghana as espoused in the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. Mr. Speaker, the terms of the facility are indicated under paragraph 5 of your committee's report. It's a loan amount of some $150 million United States, a grant component of 24.08%, and has maturity period, including 5 years grace period of 30 years. Mr. Speaker, your committee's observations have been captured under paragraph 8 of the committee's report, and therefore I go to the conclusion. The committee, Mr. Speaker, having carefully examined the referral, is of the view that the implementation of the project would contribute to the eradication of poverty and the improvement of security and enhance socio-economic development of the beneficiary communities. In view of this, we respectfully recommend to this House to approve the said facility. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Honorable Woho.
Right Honorable Speaker, I rise to second the motion moved by the Chairman of the Finance Committee for the approval of the facility for the SOCO project. At the committee level, Mr. Speaker, we were briefed about what the program is about, and it goes to enhance social and economic conditions in the regions up north. The 6 targeted regions include the northern region, the northeast, Savannah, upper east, and upper west. Then we were informed that OT would be added, even though it was not in the original document, because conditions over there are about the same as in the other regions. Mr. Speaker, the chairman
already announced that the grant element is 24.08%. It's important for us to take note of this because in the recently approved tax exemption bill, we noted that for a project to qualify for tax exemption, if ever it is raised by importers, it should be, it should cover, the grant element should cover a certain threshold. So I think we have to take note of this when such issues come up later. Mr. Speaker, there are 5 components of the project. Community resiliency and inclusion, building foundation and capacity, regional coordination platform and dialogue, project management, and the 5th one is contingency emergency response. Mr. Speaker, you will note that the document presented to us did not allocate any funds for the contingency aspect of the emergency response aspect of the project. But the sponsors of the project informed us that when there is an emergency, they will resort to the funds allocated to any of the earlier components to meet the obligations of any emergency that may arise. We hope that this will be done so that when there is an emergency, we won't be stranded. Because as for emergency, it can come at any time, and it can come in any form. So we must be prepared to be able to address anyone that may occur by making financial provisions for that. Mr. Speaker, I think apart from this, the facility is a very cheap one, very, very cheap for that matter. And it will take 30 years to repay. And we've set no interest rate at 1.36% and service charge of 1.46%. We recommend it for approval by the House for the project, the so-called project, to be implemented in the north of the Gulf City regions. I thank you.
Honourable members, motion moved and seconded. It's now for the consideration of the House. There being no consideration, I put the question. Oh, Honourable, yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to speak to the report before us. Mr. Speaker, my colleague has raised some of the issues, so I will not belabor the point. But, Mr. Speaker, if you look through the original document presented to the committee, they did indicate that we are going to spend 112.5 million under component 1, 50 million under component 15, 7.5 million under component 3, and 15 million under component 5. And they made zero allocation to component 5. But, Mr. Speaker, it's very dangerous giving the ministry such a discretionary power to go and spend when there are emergencies. Because we were told at the committee that when there are emergencies, they will just remove money from component 4, which is the $15 million, to deal with emergency situations. They will not come back to Parliament to tell us these are the emergencies and this amount of money we are drawing from component 5. So giving them this kind of approval and giving the ministry this kind of discretion is like giving them a blank check. So, Mr. Speaker, as a House, we need to take a decision on such matters. This original document, the report did not capture it. So, I'm just pleading with the chairman. You want to provide information, but Mr. Speaker has not recognized you. So, Mr. Speaker, these are some of the issues we need to address, because after the approval is given, the ministry will not come back to report to the committee or to the House how much they are going to withdraw from component 5 to spend on emergency situation. So these are the issues I want to raise. Mr. Speaker, we were told at the committee that under page 7, the project activities and benefits, they use part of the money to construct dams, roads, markets, and all that. But since 2017 up to 2019, we had a Ministry of Special Initiative which promised this country that they are going to construct a dam at every village in the northern region. One village, one dam project. So are they telling us that that project has failed, of which we are going to take another facility from World Bank to construct additional dams? Because the report did not tell us that, okay, they constructed, let's say, 15 dams. We are left with, let's say, 10 dams. So we are going to construct the 10 in addition to this. So if the one village, one dam project has failed, they should come clear, tell all of us, so that we know that we are taking additional loan of 150 million, and part of it will be used to construct dams, market, roads, and all that, so that at least we'll be at the same page, and we can just go and tell the people one village, one dam project has failed. As simple as that, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, with this few observations, as my colleague just said, the terms are very good, and this is a World Bank project, and it will be activity-based. So they will assess us and when you do the project, and the funds will be released to you. So with these few observations, I thank you very much for the opportunity.
I thought that the chairman will wait, listen to the comments of the rest, take note of them, and then you respond. Or we are done. It's not left with the leaders. The leaders. Okay, now the chairman.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. It is just to point out that this is a World Bank project covering 4 countries: Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, and Burkina Faso. So there's a common template associated with the facility that this House is being called upon to approve. Now, once that approval is granted, the World Bank will then require the implementing ministry or agency to provide the details upon which disbursement would be done. That is why you see the usage in those broad terms. They are the templates provided by the financier, namely the World Bank. So the impression given by my colleague Honorable Achampon that we are giving the implementing agency some blank check is incorrect. It's incorrect. The template is by the development partner, and once we give approval, the details would be provided before implementation starts. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I put the question. Those in favor of the motion, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. We move to the consequential resolution, item number 29. Yes, Minister for Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respectfully, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that resolution item listed as 29 on page 21 be adopted. Thank you.
Any seconder? Yes.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I second the motion.
Honorable members, this is a consequential resolution, so I put the question. Those in favor of the adoption of the resolution say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The resolution is accordingly adopted. Yes, leadership. Item. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, especially if we could go to conclude the debate, the comments on the media review.
Honorable members, go to page 8, item 8, a statement by the Honorable Minister for Finance on the media review of the budget statement and economic policy of the Government of Ghana for the 2022 financial year. Conclusion of comments. I am guided to take one from each side of the divide, and from the minority side, I'm told is Honorable Ricketts Hagan. I want to be sure on the majority side who is going to. Honorable.
The Honorable Festus Kofi. The Honorable Festus Kofi.
Festus Kofi. Please get ready. You have 8 minutes each. Yeah.
It's not working. This is not working.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statement made by the Finance Minister on the mid-year review. Mr. Speaker, what we expected from the Finance Minister, the issues that we expected the Finance Minister to address, were not addressed. He just scratched the surface. And it seems as if he has not really grasped the enormity of the problem that is facing the economy at the moment.